Are you there?
Oh, yes, ma'am. We're here.
Okay, so I was listening as much as I could before our call started, and why don't you give us? Is she joining us here, or?
No,
she's alternative.
She's on Atlantic time.
Okay.
So it's got to be at 10 o'clock by her now.
Okay.
So she's got to rest up and keep hammering those keys. I told her this isn't even close to being done. I said we're about 10% there, and they thought it was over. Just because you get your kids back doesn't mean you don't want to leave your home. You better believe you better scramble to protect them once you get them back.
So what all happened? Why don't you give us an update, because a lot of folks don't know. And I didn't. First of all, because I'm on the edge of my seat, did she get them back or not?
Yeah. They're gonna just wrap all the package, all the kid stuff up and whatever, and everybody agreed she needed, I guess, a couple of days off to relax, and she's gonna they all agreed to get them on Friday because she was exhausted. Because I got a little upset with her. I said, hey, what did you find out about this, that you're getting your kids back? She said, Tuesday. I said, why are you telling me on Wednesday? Is there some freak like after work? I said, why you can't call me? And she said, well, we were just so happy and we were exhausted and burnt down, and exes, we all got together and we were all hugging and laughing. And I said, okay. I said, I'm just breaking your balls a little bit there. I said, well, keep me in a loop. I'm interested. I'm not charging people a dime. It took me so many ridiculous amount of hours to try to teach you and modify your suit. Because that's what I said, though. I said, do you realize the very last draft of your suit, everything that is blue had to be redacted and changed, and the only 4 words that remained was the Court of Nova Scotia. I had to change your whole entire suit. I said, yeah, because I knew your back was against it. Well, I didn't have any more time to teach you. I had to do it. I said, if I didn't do it, the judge would just laugh. The judge would say, she ain't got it. She ain't got it. I said,
it also sounded like she held her own fairly well in the courtroom.
God, because she was doing this crazy stuff. Before she started talking to me a couple of weeks ago, she was like, she wouldn't answer me the name. She was saying the spelling was wrong. She was saying that the Gisette family. Oh my God, the living, breathing soul of the entity. I was like, oh, you did not do that. She said, yes. I said, what happened? They threw us out of the court. I said, yeah, I thought you not too. I said, ma'am, can you just sit down and stand up and do everything else like everybody else does? She's like, oh, but that'll give them jurisdiction. That doesn't kind of jurisdiction. I said, ma'am, put a claim in. That's the claim is superior to any other complaint or any accusation on the administrative side in Canada, in that province, under common law. Your rules are the prevailing rules of that court. None of this nonsense, standing up, sitting down, the local rules of the quorum. It's called the quorum. Just standing up and sitting down is called the quorum. It's just how the court, everybody's supposed. When you walk into a Catholic church, I don't know, Angela, if you know, you're supposed to walk in, kneel, take your position at the pew before you exit into the pew. The women get in, then you kneel one more time. You present yourself to the altar. There's a decorum. When you go to the convene, protocol, the word. Protocol is an actual listing. You got to do step 1, step 2, step 3. The quorum is how you act. So the quorum is how you actually act, and protocol is like, first we do this, first we do every second. So protocol is actually a list of things in a certain order. And the quorum...
That's how I learned to go into the Catholic Church. First you go to the holy water and you dip your fingers in there and you cross yourself. Then you walk down the aisle and then you kneel or genuflect before you get into the pew, and on and on and on. And if the Reverend Mother uses her little clicker gizmochi, you get up and let's go back down.
Exactly, and that's what I try to explain to people. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. You don't want to make them upset.
Yeah, so anyway, let me get you started here in the right direction, because I really want to know what went down with this woman, and can you do it like step by step, like from the beginning what happened, and then, she came to you, brought you documents, you started modifying her documents or redoing them, however you want to say it, and then what happened in the court, and, you were mentioning that she asked for a jury, what the methods are that she went about using to get her.
Well, like I said, first she started doing a really complicated method, and I never heard of anything. Somebody told me something about divine providence, and I never really looked at the Clifford stuff. But she was saying she started to do all that stuff, and sent it to me, and I won't even read that stuff. I send it over
What
to
is it? What is it? Divine Providence?
Yeah, something like that. And I send everything over to Greg. There's a man in Chicago who helps me a lot. He does like, he's like, who's that guy? Who's that guy in Michigan who sends you guys, who does massive amount of research? He always sounds like he's smoking a cigarette when he's doing his thing. I'll remember his name in a minute. But he's great research.
Karl Miller?
Oh, something. Yeah, something. What's the other name? Not Karl. There's another guy.
Constitution Man?
No, that's Karl
Miller, yeah.
There's another guy. He's incredible, man. And I'm sure everybody's on the board right now telling the man's name. He's an incredible researcher. But what I do is I just send everything over to this man named Greg. He's kind of like the guy in Michigan. And he deciphers all this babble for me. And I said, Greg, just hit me with the highlights. Tell me what this lady's doing. And then he just basically said, this is what she's doing. I said, this is overkill. Just say I want my damn property back and I want it now. Or you're going to pay some, it's going to cost you.
She said that verbally, or was that on paper? Or both?
We did it really nicely. That was the lawsuit. So, but what happened is, like I said, first she said this was going on for 5 months. I've only known the lady for like 3 weeks, but she was listening to all the other stuff throughout the years. And then when her kids got taken, because she's one of these people who, believe in transmentalation kind of, you know what I'm saying? That bigger picture thing that I don't believe. I just work in the 3-dimensional world. And I'm very happy, She wants to expand her knowledge, and I couldn't care less about that. I just want to put dinner on the table every night. I don't care about the bigger picture. So she's really trying to, learn more about life. So she was getting into all these fancy words like living, breathing, entity, soul, and all this stuff. And I say, oh my God, that's not going to carry the day. They're going to think you're practiced. So she did. She said that they just totally laughed at us. And then somebody steered her to, like, me talking on your shows. And she said, wow, that sounds super simple. Let's start listening to Karl if he makes his own show. So I made my own show 4 or 5 weeks ago. And then she eventually called me like 3 weeks ago. And she told me what's going on. I said, okay, send me what you got. And I said, oh my God, look at this nonsense. I'm not reading this. I'm not putting up with this. I'd rather step on a thumbtack than read this stuff. This is ridiculous. I can't do this. So I sent it to Greg. Give me the highlights. Well, what does she want? She wants her kids back. Okay, great. I said, here you go, lady. All you got to do is say this.
Okay, was it 4 or 5 kids?
She said it was 4. I know it was 5.
Okay, all right.
So it was right.
What did she say? That it wasn't until she referred to them as children?
It wasn't until she referred to them as her property that the court get really upset. Because the state can't make a claim for property. Even though the 1933 Act, the Gold Act, 1933, everybody knows that, it says all property now reverts to the state. Okay, great. You know what? That's in a 2-dimensional world. Okay, that's an administrative court. Okay, you can't use that in a common law court. The 1933 Act. Say, well, it says clearly here in the 1933 Act that all property now resides in the state. Yeah, great, wonderful. Prove that has anything to do with my property. Whose property? My property. Karl Lentz's property? Expressly my property? No. That's state. All property now relies on the state. I don't give a crap. I'm not going to sit here and try to decipher what some guy wrote in 1933. It ain't got a damn thing to do with me. So this is what I tell a lady. We live in a common law land. And these people are terrified of that fact. They want to turn us into a code land and executive order land like you have no idea. But as long as we still live in a common law land, all you have to do is, like I said to the lady, I said, did they steal your property? Was it a theft? Was it a robbery? And she had no idea where she was going. I said, look, robbery means they physically took your property while you were present by physical force. Theft means they snuck in the middle of the night while you're sleeping and you can't point across the courtroom and say, I saw that lady take my property. Did you physically see somebody touch your children, or did they do it at school? If they did it at school, it's a theft. If they did it in front of your face, it's a robbery, and that's violent. And that's big-time crime. I said, that's a big-time claim. She said, oh, no, they definitely took him right in front of our face. Oh, and you could point across the room and point that lady out who touched your child. She said, absolutely. I said, ho. You got a case. So the judge seen these magic words. You don't say they took my property. They stole my property. It was a theft. You say robbery. And the judge knows exactly what you're talking about, and that you know what you're talking about. So I said, the claim is a trespass. Trespass means any wrong. That's what I said to everybody. All cases are the same, and all cases are unique. So people say, why are you talking riddles? I said, okay, the nature of the case is always going to be a trespass, that they did you wrong. That's the nature. There's a wrong. Without a wrong, there is no case. Now, the characteristics of the wrong is always going to be different. Everybody's going to see or interpret their wrong to be unique. That's your case. Your case is always going to have a trespass, and it's always going to have the characteristic that describe the trespass. So, I said, lady, exactly what did they do? I said, oh, good. That's a robbery. Now, did I use a fancy word like they administrated my property without any rights? No. She could physically say in one word, robbery, but 1,000 pages could have to explain and show in detail and videotapes and everything else. Just say robbery. I'm claiming they robbed me of my property, and I want my property back now. And for every day that you hold that property without right, I'm claiming $1,000 a day. And then the last line was, but if you give my property back immediately, I'll forgive you of your trespass of my property as I would wish others to forgive my trespass upon their property. And then they just finally said, you know what, we're going to return our property.
The Lord's Prayer says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Right, but under the Protestant King James Version, it's please forgive me of my debt as I want those to forgive me of my debt that I owe them. See, the Catholic version in the Lord's Prayer is trespass. In the King James Version of the Bible, it's debt. Because people in England came over to the United States because they were like shipped over from like debtors' prisons. So they're like, you know what, we're tired of being shipped all around the world because we owe $5. So how about we make it a rule in this country that we'll forgive each other of their debts? How about we make that as a general rule? And there you go.
I learned the Lord's Prayer both ways. Forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors.
Right. And that's
our trespasses. It's, yeah.
And that's the
thing, isn't it?
Right, because the people who came over to this country, that's their Bible. And they got tired of being shipped over to this country, and they said, no more. We're not going to do to each other what England did to us. So when they landed in the New World, they said, you know what, we are going to forgive those debt against us, as we want them to forgive us of our debts. So that way we're not getting shipped away from our families off to Australia next. Next thing you know, we're going to be in Antarctica. Who knows where they're going to bring us? So they got tired of it. So that's the whole thing about trespass and debt. So, I think it worked out really good for the lady. I can't believe when she told me, when she told me, man, that she cross-examined that lady on the stand and said, you did not do that. She said, yes. I said, oh, okay, you know what? My claim is like 95% tight because you did mess around with my words a little bit. Send it back to me and I'll tighten that thing up and I'll really put the fear of thunder into this judge's shorts. And she says, oh, no, don't worry. It worked out fine. We're getting our kids back on Friday. Oh, thanks, lady. I said,
wow, isn't that awesome? And how long have they had him? I mean, how long have they been taken away from her?
5 months.
5 months.
And you heard
man.
Heard her say that they had already called up the ex-husband and the ex-wife. They had already promised the ex-husband and ex-wife a place to live for free, like transportation, free medical, if they would just take these kids. So see, they were hoping
Child services? Okay.
Yeah, they were promising the ex that, look, we'll make them pay you child support, so instead of you paying them, they will start paying you. So
what's their reason for doing that?
To tear the families apart.
That's their reason.
That's it. And to prove that,
okay, let me ask you this. Why did they take her children away to begin with? What was the reason?
They were colorful people, and I don't really want to get into anything personal unless Jesse wants to tell you. But they
well, they weren't beating them or anything, were they?
No, ma'am. I don't really want to. They were not doing the standard normal thing that was, the U.S. government DA approved. For them, they were doing something that was not, what society felt was normal. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think any of us do that. I mean, right?
Right.
None of us do what is considered normal. If it was, I don't know, they've got so many, like, gazillion laws to break. So they must not think we're normal.
Right? I think the only thing she wouldn't mind me saying is they basically said failure to thrive. And then we'll just leave it at that.
Failure to thrive? Oh, so they were vegetarians?
Something like that. They were good, colorful people. They're just like the guest you have on your show all the time, like a Boris kind of guy. transcendental meditation, let's hug in harmony and love and peace each other.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
But me, I have no clue, and I don't want to know, and I just want to raise, cattle and tomatoes. I'm a happy guy. I don't want to get into anything.
Are the children going to be happy to go home?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. They'll love the kids to death. But like I said, they were just really squeezing these people by not letting them see the kids. Just, they were just torturing these guys. Trying to break them. Do not read. Yeah. So she's she said that like each kid had there's a whole bunch of doctors and they had all kinds of proof that the kids were doing horrible in their care and they had 6-inch thick documents. That's ridiculous. I said, don't you pick up that case file. Don't you read it. Well, it's going to break your heart. Don't do it. It's going to twist your mind and destroy your brain. You got to concentrate on what I'm doing. I'm telling you, lady, do what I say. I'm telling you. You don't know me from Adam. I'm telling you. Don't listen to these other people. Say, well, that's exculpatory evidence. And you're going to find that you're going to take this apart, and you're going to show each standing and precedent in their case and where they can't. I said, ma'am, don't look at it. Just look forward. Look at the goal line. This is where we got to go. We got to go on offense. We got to move forward. You can't play defense because the only thing you can do as a defendant is stand still or go backwards. You got to keep moving forward if you want to win. So she's like, okay. I said, no, I'm telling you. Now she wants to read it because now she's going to sue everybody for making a false claim and everything.
Well, good for her.
But seriously, what it is with people that believe a total stranger like me, she doesn't know me. So
when it's your kids and everything else has failed and you want your kids back, you do whatever you think sounds feasible, right?
But still, it's a leap of faith. That's why I made a website like 2-3 months ago. And so I could show people, I showed you, that was like birdmind.org. So,
yeah, but what's on there? You got a bunch of kitties on that one video, and then there's a bunch of poster shots of you like you're some pin-up in a magazine.
That's just me.
Posing like you're selling cars or something.
My wife
off that car.
My ex-wife took a picture of me in McDonald's parking lot.
Oh, really? But your hood is up.
That's in Las Vegas. That's up on Rainbow Road. Up Cheyenne Craig Road up there. That's up in the northwest part of Vegas.
Yeah.
See the palm tree in the back. That's all.
What does that have to do with, anything that you talk about?
So people can see that I'm just a normal schmo.
Oh.
So people can see that.
They can tell that by listening to you talk.
But then when people don't know what I look like, they're like, well, and then when people see what I look like I said, when I used to work for a computer company, it's Sony and Dell when I worked for them. And I said, the people would be like, I'll never learn this. I said, go to the company website, click on a picture of me. Like, oh my God, that's you? I said, you think some meatball like me can figure out computers? Do you think you look smarter than me? And people are like, well, And I said, honestly, you do, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, there you go. If I could do it, you certainly could do it. I look like some biker. So if I could do it, don't you think you could do it? I said, I didn't make it past 10th grade. Did you go fast past me? Yeah, and I'm teaching you how to work your computer. So believe me, you'll figure it out. It's not rocket science. So it just calms everybody down when you show a picture of who you are. And you say, wow, this is just some schmo who lives up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, chopping down trees with a whole bunch of cows and cats running around. He's not an Oxford law student. He's not Yale. I'm not a Cambridge Road scholar. I'm just some schmo. But I know very basic, simple law. And this is all you need to do. And don't let them distract you with all this mumbo-jumbo legalese stuff and all the stuff that people try to sell on these YouTube things. It's just distracting. Just say, do you have the right to touch my property? Yes or no? And like you said, well, that's an old style, 1950s daddy style. It still holds true. You have a right to touch my property, yes or no? Well, that's a code. That's a privilege, an obligation, or a duty. But is it a right? No, it's not a right. Do I have the right to claim that property, an exclusive, have that property, enjoy it exclusive to all others within society? Is that my property? And she said, when her and the judge said that, they said that when they put that little habeas corpus thing in, but I don't call it habeas corpus, and restoration of property. Yeah, that with habeas corpus and the Canada Charter, blah, blah, blah. He came down, and she handed it to the clerk of the court. She gave it to the clerk of the court. The clerk of the court ran upstairs and got the head judge. Head judge called her into a conference room. This was moving like lightning now. This was like 2 weeks ago. And he said, ma'am, we don't like using the word property. Can you put the word children in instead? And she was a little under pressure because she was intimidated because this is the head judge. And she agreed. And she called me back up and said, ma'am, one more time, you're going to play it my way or I'm out of here. You are not going to change one word because the judge just saw that you committed perjury. Now, when you say something, you've got to stick to it to the letter until the day you die. I said, if you don't understand what it means keeping your word, the judge is going to see right through you. Now, you're adamant and you stand like a nail and you will not bend. And you let him keep hitting you, but you keep saying, that's my word, I'm sticking to it, and you want to prevail. I'm telling you, if you let him manipulate your words or your language, you will automatically fail to realize he's dealing with a clown, a dishonorable person. You will lose immediately. So she's like, okay. I said, now just really get this fortitude and build up and pump yourself up and say, this is my word and I'm sticking to it. And just keep saying it over and over. And don't let anybody move you from your status or your pedestal, your position, you're standing in court. Don't do it. I said, it's going to be tough, but the more you talk to me, I'm not a huggy-boo guy. I'm going to curse at you. I'm going to get mad at you. I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to make you cry. But you're going to do what I damn well say if you want these freaking kids back. You understand me? But she just started like confident as she's kicking ass now and taking names.
I'm so happy. That's so cool. I tell you, Granny was trying to get her grandbaby back. Remember Granny? I think she's on here. Yeah, she's on here. Have you talked to her a little bit about this? Because she would probably be just as good as Jessie in standing up there and speaking her piece.
You know, so what I was doing is these people from Canada were like an hour ahead of us, so I was getting on doing a talk show like an hour or two before your show, and I was trying to end it before yours, and then jump on yours, and let the women do this stuff. They're women, and they go to bed early. You know, they don't want to stay up until, 10, 11 o'clock. We do the stuff until midnight on the East Coast. You guys, it's only 9 o'clock for you guys. So it's over here. So I said, look, these women are asking me how to get back their kids. So I'm getting a lot of women from, like, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, that area, that part of Canada. So I said, look, ladies, I'll do this at 7, 8 o'clock at night, but then I'm going to jump over to Angela's show. So, the grannies, the show's been running over. Overtime. So it's been like going like an hour into your show. It's like, oh, you know what? Can we just do this, lady, and move it over to Angela's show tonight? And because I don't know if Angela has a guest, and I know last week you had somebody doing taxes, and
yeah, we had.
Right. So then I said, well, we'll just, and then once Angela's calls over, if you folks want to talk about, money or finances or UCC or foreign jurisdictions, that's fine. But I try to do it like early in the evening for the Canadians, with family law, women getting their children back. But later on at night, we just talk about debits, credit card debts, mortgages, whatever nonsense. So,
God bless you. God bless you for what you're doing, Karl.
I know what's going I know what's going to happen because I've seen other people this happen. Other people who help them get their kids back. Their kids get 5 years older, 10 years older, 20 years older, and they'll say to the lady, the lady say, the kid, you see that guy's picture? That's the guy who got you back to us. And the kids will say, wow, there was some strange man from some far-off land who helped me get back with my mom.
Some long-haired, hippie-looking dude.
Yeah, and they'll always remember me. So that's I don't need money as long as I know that there's some family like that. Now, if you want me to help you get out of credit card debt, well, oh yeah, you better believe you're gonna pay me. I don't need no kumbaya hug for that to help you get your house back or mortgages, but to get your kids back, oh yeah, I'll do that for free. I don't mind.
I love that. That's wonderful. Well, yeah, of course, you're putting your time and energy into things. And if people pay you to help them with credit card debt and other things, that makes it possible for you to help people in dire stress to get their kids back, for you to do that for free, right?
That's exactly, that's the payoff, that's the set-off. You got to give back something. You get something, you got to give something back.
And yeah, Truth Seeker Amber said, plus when they are dealing with the courts and family, it drains all your energy, and it does. It's such a drain.
And that's why I said, lady, don't care. Do not listen to any words that are coming out of these people's mouths. Don't cross-examine it. Don't do anything. Don't get wrapped up in their nonsense. Don't do it. It's going to destroy you.
It's hard to stay focused, when you're being, beat upon from all angles.
Oh yeah, and she did a great job, like I said. It was unbelievable. Because like I said, my style will make some of these women cry. And I've had some women cry. And you said to me very early when you first started me, you said, Karl, you're very crude. And like, ma'am, sometimes not to be crude. You got to be cruel to be kind. Because if these people are not playing patty cake when you go to family court, they want to crucify you. They want your kids destroyed. They want you in a cage. They want to hurt you every which way they can. Believe me, I'm going gentle on you compared to what they're going to do to you in court.
They want to break you.
They're merciless. They're going to destroy you. So I said, that's why you might think I'm a little crude when I talk to these ladies. So they say, hey, I'm telling you, you gotta toughen them up. Because this isn't patty cake. You better not cry in court. You better be strong. And that lady, I guarantee, the way she talked to us tonight, I guarantee she was shaking in her boots in front of that judge. But I'm sure she was stern. And I'm sure she held her own.
I know, boy, a video would have been great. That's okay, you know. She tells it really good. I wish I could have, heard the whole thing from...
I wish I could have one of the first phone calls with me and her, because...
Well, you recorded that call, right? So we're good.
Well, what I'm saying is the first couple of private calls with me and her, I could get really graphic. And I guarantee she was like, no man has ever talked to me like this before.
Oh, my God.
How dare you?
You gotta bite your tongue sometimes, Carl. I'm sorry. I mean, okay, there's a time to be tough, to let them know what it's going to be like when they're in court.
Right.
But you can still be a gentleman, I think.
But, like I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, you beat them right to a 10, because you know when the judge gets to court, they're only going to hit them up to an 8.
Yeah, if you're doing mock court or moot court, however you want to say it, yeah, definitely don't hold back. But you got to understand, these women are going through pure hell when your kid is taken away from you.
Oh, yeah. But like I said...
Oh, God, that's tough.
But first of all, I said what really makes them upset is I try to get them to understand it's all your fault. And oh my God, that hits them so hard. Like, now we're going to work backwards, and we're going to explain why it's all your fault. But you're going to get hit right in the face. Boom, you're going to see a stall. Like, you're either going to hang up the phone right now, or you're going to take it. Now, how bad do you want your kids? And here we go.
So mean. But I understand where you're coming from, but...
yeah, it works.
It's a hell of a thing to say to a woman that's just lost her kids. I don't know. I don't think I would be that harsh. But that's what makes us different.
There's a method to my madness. I could get it done in 2 days. I could get that lawsuit filed, and you're going to get a hearing, and 2 days later they say, we give up, here's your kids. Or you want to tap dance around for 6 months or 6 years, and we'll play patty cake. Or do you want to hit these guys right between the eyes? And that's exactly
so let me ask you, so at what point did you come into the scene? What did you say, last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks ago she started listening to my stuff because I made my own call. And I think 2 weeks ago, I think she jumped on the show and she sent me all her stuff. So like I said, we had to move like lightning because they were getting, this is what people always do. They call me 2 minutes before their trial. They're like, oh my God, what day do you have to have this in? Ma'am, you realize how we're going to how I have to drill you to get you ready for this? What style have you been listening to? I was like, oh my God, you've been listening to this Kumbaya style? Oh my God, I'm going to have to hit you between the eyes. This is going to have to come hard and quick. Ma'am, it's all your fault. Here we go. Now, can you accept that and can we move on? Or do you want to do the Kumbaya stuff and lose? What do you want to do, ma'am? I said, I got to hit you hard, hit you quick. How are we going to do this? And she took it. And she stood back up and she said, okay, now here we go.
Okay, and so how long did it take you to get her into shape?
She said she downloaded my shows and she iPodded them. I put them in like MP3'd them, and she said every place her and her husband drove, they were listening to them in the car. They would like listen to them around the clock. And I basically let her just do the show. If you go back to the old shows on Thursday nights, like 7, 8 o'clock, I just let her talk for the first hour or two. I just let her get it out.
Which one? Okay, and what did we accomplish with that call?
Now, what call was that? Oh, it's 172468. And I let her just run the show, just like I basically did tonight. I said,
that's your regular call number?
Yes, this one, 27469. And I just let her, on the Thursday night shows, just run the show. And I said, look, folks, I said, I can't take any calls or any questions. I just worked with this lady. I only have a couple of weeks work of her, a week. I had a week to work with her. I said, we got to get it done quick. So, folks, just hang on, hang back. We'll go and jump on Angela's show, and then we'll do one after Angela's show, but let this lady do this show. So she was like, because she's an hour ahead of us. So it's like, okay, and everybody agreed. And sometimes I'd let other people jump in and ask questions, and then it got ridiculous and it lasted 4 hours. And so tonight I was like, no, 1 hour, we're done. She got her kids back, I'm done. You know?
Okay, but she didn't get them back yet. She's picking them up on Friday, did you say?
Yes, because she said that she wanted to get the house ready, I guess, or relax.
Yeah,
and, you know.
well, sure. She's been stressed out probably for the full 5 months.
I'm sure she said to them, no, I'm sure she said, I want them now. They would have went
Yeah.
done. She agreed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you know, she's frazzled. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm sure she wants to take a shower, take a bath, you know, relax a little bit, you know, get a steam, you know. She's exhausted. So,
Yeah, but you know what? If it was me, I'd want them right now.
well, you can't. I don't judge. You know, if that's.
No, I'm not judging. I'm just saying if it was me.
Oh yeah.
If it was you, you would handle it your way. I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
You know, I went through it. My ex-husband had my son. He had him for like 2 months. He stole him from me, which he didn't have to do. You know, I drop him off for visitation, and he steals them.
Right. But like I said, you
I had to fight in court to get him back, though.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? That what's your talk shoe number? 39904.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I told everybody. Okay. But so other than that, is there anything else that you want to talk about? You want to talk about for
I want to know about that. Well, what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Because I don't want to cut you off.
I said about what happened to Michael, Mr. Goldman. You know, did the autopsy come back and it wasn't just a collapsed heart or inflamed heart? Was it just that?
I don't know. You know, I sent out an email. The funeral's in May. So I haven't gotten anything yet on the coroner's report.
Right.
So I guess it's not done yet, and that's probably why the funeral is put off to May, because they're going to have it for so long.
Right. I was just wondering how the all is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess everything's okay. I sent out the email with if you want to donate to the funeral and so on to the daughter.
Well, one year.
Microman is asking Angela, please post Karl's website and or contact information. Our people are in need of this man's to contact information. Okay, so say your email address or what? How do you want people to contact you?
Okay, you could do you could do Broadmind, BROADMIND, like you're broad-minded, like you got a wide scope of range, because that's what people said. It's like unbelievable how much nonsense I know about so many different things. Broadmind. So somebody said you're broad-minded. So it's like, yeah, that's
Broadmind what?
.org, O-R-G. So it's like, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm broad-minded. I got a broad mind. And but what's funny, when I'm moving in court, I only move in one direction. I'm always on the attack. I never play defendant. I never answer. I'm the one who's asking the questions. I'm the one who's holding court. It's my freaking court. And boy, they got really upset when she wrote down it was the Arsenal Court at the Queen's Bench. Oh, they went bananas. They're like, oh, we don't understand what you mean by the Arsenal Court. Her name is Jessie Arsenal. And Arsenal. Court, yeah. It was like the Queen of England was arriving now in Newfoundland. So the Queen's Court was now at Queen's Bench in New Brunswick. So they went bananas. Because, like I said, folks, look, this is the same way every United States Supreme Court case is written. So if you do like Hale versus Hinkle, if you read the Hale versus Hinkle case, you see the Supreme Court's decision. It'll say in the Hale Court, or say in the Hinkle Court, who's ever moving the claim. He said the United States Supreme finds that in the Hinkle Court of 1902. So they describe whoever's the plaintiff, not the plaintiff, sorry about that, whoever's the claimant, that court is named after them, the guy, because without the claimant, there is no court being held. It's just an empty building waiting for somebody to bring a claim before. So it's whose court is it? And you're going to bring your rules. So she forgot to tell you folks that we set up a list of rules and how her court was going to be convened and how it's going to be held and how everybody whose role was going to be what. He's going to do this, she's going to do that. they're going to do this, and we'll only accept this. We'll give you, oh, it's so funny, she missed that whole part, but it's on my call. She did it about 2 weeks ago. She said it was hysterical when she was taking all claims from 9 to 9:30. I said, ma'am, I told you make it from 9 to like 12. She said, well, she only wanted to accept claims from 9 o'clock to 10 after 9. I said, man, that's ridiculous. So first what you do is you go to court and you accept all claims to that property. Now, did anybody make a claim to your children that day in court? You noticed the world. Did anybody make a claim to your children? She said, no, nobody came forward with a claim. I said, good. You had the court clerk notice that? Yes. Good. She said, like I said, it's a longer process than what she just said tonight on this call. So if you listen back to only on a Thursday night calls, Jesse was on. Don't bother looking for my Monday night call, Saturday call. Don't bother listening to that if you want to know how Jesse did her court. Jesse's whole entire thing from beginning to end is on those calls. On the Thursday night calls, that's like 7 o'clock.
Okay, what's the call number? The call ID number is what?
172469.
Okay. Alrighty.
And that's how you get to hear the Jesse story. And hopefully, I don't really have to do any more Thursdays because it was just the day that she agreed to that she was available, and I think that's the day she called me on the phone. I said, look, man, I'm going to set up a call. We're going to do this real quick, and we're going to record this for all freaking time. So any other woman has a problem, if I drop in and die, you guys got it covered. You don't need me no more. So she's like, okay. That's how we did it. So, yeah, we still might do a Thursday show, I don't know. I just like to do I used to do Saturdays after Mr. Goldman's show, and Jack and I got along great. We just like, he wanted me to call up all the time and beat up his guests. He said, because it's great for ratings.
Well, I don't care if you have a show on Thursday.
Well, no, he actually enjoyed it. Oh, no, because I just tell everybody, let's jump over to Angela, see if she needs help.
That's fine. You know, the whole thing is about learning.
Yeah. So Mr. Goldman, we would talk after the show. That if anybody was wondering with what was his name, Gordon Hall, they said his family said that he's probably not going to see daylight for about 3 years. So
Wait a minute. What did you say the number is again? Because Oklahoman is saying the correct call ID is 127469.
No, she's right. I'm so sorry, folks. It's 12.
Okay, so oh, geez. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Oklahoman. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just my thing with numbers. I'm not a big fan of it. My own phone number, I can't remember it. But no, I don't want
to give out the wrong call ID.
It doesn't exist. See, I didn't do that. But I really like Jack. I really had a good time with Jack. We had a blast just beating up on guests. He really enjoyed it. He was like the Jerry Springer of the talk show calls. He really enjoyed me, going after people. But I was respectful of people. But he really enjoyed what I did. So
I miss him. I talk to him daily.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun talking to him. But, there's like, I talked to Gordon Hall just like I'm talking to you. We got along great on
he's going to have a hell of a time. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't want to say anything.
I'd love to see his method. I say to him, Gordon, do you want to do my method now, or do you want to do your method? I said, because I think I can get you out of there pretty quick. I think we do like a habeas corpus thing called, return of possession of the property. I think we can get out of here pretty quick.
What do you say?
Let's see if he does. No, let's see if he carries the day with his, I conditionally accept your offer upon I hope he gets his chance to do it. Gets his chance to try that style and see if it really works. So,
well, I don't know how he would. Well, I don't know how he would use that in this particular situation.
Somebody said that they're not offering him a bond, so that way he can't try it. So as long as there's no money on the table, like any offer that like set it off, they're not.
But there's an injured party, isn't there? Is there someone that made a claim against him?
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of people. See, that's the only thing bad now is the common law really is not going to help him save his day, because if there's a man or woman who's claiming that he did wrong, and they could actually prove a financial loss that's incurred due to his acts or inactions, oh yeah, his nonsense ain't going to work in common law.
I don't know. I hope the best for him, but...
This is what I tell people. My stuff only works against governments and agencies. It does not work against another man. Another man, you better settle it.
Yeah.
And you better not do wrong and think you're going to go into common law and think you're going to walk away like this is magic. This only happens when somebody takes your kids who have, like if it's a husband and a wife. As I said, that's why they're getting the ex-husband and ex-wife involved. The ex-husband and ex-wife, now if the wife goes, they can move this all with the common law. If they have the ex-husband and ex-wife, now Jesse and her husband John are in big trouble. There's no way I could help them. They are totally screwed. If the exes get involved to try to take those kids away from her.
Right. If they would have came forward with a claim, that would have been a little different outcome, I think. But obviously the exes, as you referred to them, didn't want the kids, so...
God, man, worked out fine, and thank God, man, it's going to be all right, man. I really do. But like I said, if they don't want to move out of New Brunswick, I've got to give her a lot of coaching on what to do this coming up Friday, and it's in. And if she wants to make it on the recording, I'll record it. But there's a lot of things she's going to have to do different, and it's going to be personal. And if she wants to share that with the world, that's fine. But I got to, like I said, every case is the same, and every case is unique. So she's going to have to go through different things that other people aren't going to have to go through, obviously. And like I said, in this claim that she made in the Queen's bench, it will work for other people in New Brunswick or possibly Nova Scotia, but I don't think it will. I know it won't work in Quebec. But when you take it over to, say, British Columbia, or you take it down here to Montana, the judge is going to pick up. See, like I said, when I did her case, I studied the pattern of the words they used in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick courts. So the terminologies that judge was comfortable with was not some American Yankee Doodle words. They were specific to the Crown. So it was like, I'm going to use their rhythm, their cadence, their pattern to what they understand. Because it looks like she just copied and pasted it off a guy from Texas. The judge will just laugh at her and say, "Oh, she doesn't know how to stand in court. We're going to clobber her. She just copy and pasted this thing." So this thing isn't just like a one-size-fits-all. So, like I said, I'm working with some folks in Idaho, and they wanted me to stay a proceeding. So I actually said, I want to hold it in abeyance. So instead of saying stay the proceeding, I said to them, I wrote to them, so I'm going to say hold in abeyance, because that's the terminology they like to use in Idaho. So, like I said, if the judges are comfortable when they see a certain pattern that they're used to dealing with every day through their lawyers, so you don't want to use it word on word, and quote unquote, exactly how they stylize their claims. This man in Idaho right now, and he paid me damn good money to do this for him because it was on a spur of the moment. He's like, I need this and I need it tomorrow. I said, okay. And he just Western Union me some money. I said, there you go, buddy. So he's a defendant. He wants to move it over to common law. I said, you can't do it. First you have to hold it in advance and get a little bit of time so I can work with you. And then we're going to move it over to the common law. I said, you can't hit him with all this wacky common law stuff when it's a credit card debt. You are in a contract. You are in a private law. That is your common law between you and that credit card company. That is the common law between you and that fiction. You bound yourself to that law. It's common to you. It has nothing to do with UCC. It has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve notes. You bound yourself with that fictional entity. That is common law. You are going to have to break it. And you're going to have to show where there's a breach of that contract. I said, this isn't just like 1, 2, 3, let's get it over to common law. No. You do have the rules of your court established in that contract between you and the credit card company. I said, this stuff was like lightning. I don't know what people are thinking. It's going to take a while to get the common law into this case, especially when you're the defendant. Obviously, we're going to do a verification of the debt. Obviously, we want to say a delegation of authority to represent the bank. Obviously, we're going to start moving in that direction. And then we're going to bring it over to the common law when they can't bring any of those proofs of delegation of authority forward. Then we're going to make a claim of trying to defraud this man, and that they're moving him without right to administrate his property, which would be the green cash in his pocket, and trying to demand money from him. But I said, this is a long process. This is long is like it's a 2-week, 3-week process. To me, that's long. It isn't just going to happen overnight. But it's not going to take 6 months or a year.
So what happens, though, if they go ahead and railroad you in the court and the judge gives them their, order to take your property or your bank account or whatever. After the fact, can you go out? Can you do the same thing after the fact?
Sure. Sure you can. Because when you move it over to the common law, there is no statute of limitations. There's no latches that can be attached to a man. So there can be statutes of limitations when you have a contract that expressly defines the terms and the rules of the law, like a credit card debt. So like I said to them, I said, look, you can't just use this stuff for every single bank, because they're like, well, mortgage company is this, and I could prove 1933 Act. It's like, look, if you're the one who decided to jump in the two-dimensional world, I said, like, go watch the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Go watch how that man jumps in between a two-dimensional world and a three-dimensional world. That's the person who ever made that movie showing you this is how you move from the two-dimensional contract, like credit card, banking world, and then you move into the flesh and blood world, or the three-dimensional. But you can operate under both. But you've got to be accepted by the two-dimensional world. That's like your credit rating. How good did you work? And during that movie, they say certain people are allowed to be in the two-dimensional world and certain people aren't. So they I think if he was a cop or a detective, was allowed to be in both worlds. So like I said, because I guess he was causing no harm to the two-dimensional world. It's the same thing with credit rating. So that movie is, basically a ridiculous storyline and a ridiculous story altogether. But it shows you the difference between the two-dimensional world and the three-dimensional world, and that's how I try to explain to people what's going on. When you find yourself, when you jump in the two-dimensional world, all the rules are upside down. It's like Alice in Wonderland. This is up and this is down, and left is right. But you're the one who decided to jump into that world. You got to play by those rules. If you don't like those rules, stay the hell away. And if you did get caught up in those rules, well, thank God in this country we have the King James Version of the Bible that says, please forgive me of my debts, as I would want those to forgive me of my debts. So like I said, you got a way to jump out. But you got to slowly pull out. You can't just do it dishonorably. You're going to destroy your credit rating, the judge is going to think you're crazy, and you're going to lose. Slowly pull out. Slowly say that they made a mistake, you're fallible, you're a man, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and you're going to start backing out. Because that's exactly what we put in our claim. I will forgive those who trespass upon my property as I wish those who trespass against mine. Forgive me of my trespasses. That was exactly how we ended that lawsuit. It's only 4 sentences long. That's how we ended it. So it might sound corny, it might sound silly, but that's the law of the land.
Yeah. No, during her time on your call earlier, she mentioned something about the judge took her brief or her pleading or what was it, her paper, and started putting lines through everything and changing things. What was that about?
When she did her habeas corpus, and we don't call it habeas corpus because I told her stop speaking Latin, because if you want to write something to me in Latin, 2 words, I'm going to write your whole entire answer to you in Latin, and I'm going to move the whole court in Latin. You're going to look like an idiot. You don't know what I'm saying. Too bad. You're the one who called the rules. You're the one who made the rules. I'm playing by your rules. Well, I just used a couple of pro se and suri juris and alpha persona. Good. Watch this. I'm going to speak Latin for the rest of it. So she's like, oh, I see what you're doing. I said, exactly. You want to speak in their terms, they're going to answer you in their terms. If you want to stay out of their jurisdiction, do not use the terms that are only found within their jurisdiction, that they have control over. Do not use, that's why none of those were, she was so, I guess it's like so, like I said, I'm not a big Bible thumper. You don't ever hear me quoting Jesus or any nonsense. You don't hear me doing any disciples. You don't hear me doing any of that stuff on any of these calls. But believe me, I know the Bible inside and out. So when she said to me, when I said to her, I said, look, you have to say, I forgive those who trespass upon my property as I wish those who forgive me of my trespass on their property. You could tell she was a little squeamish about that. She said, I don't really want to say that. Man, believe me, the judge knows. Believe me, just do it. I don't like, can't we just say, no, the word is trespass and stay with it. Ma'am, seriously, sorry, this is what we got to use. Do you want to win, or do you want to keep playing games for the next 6 years? What do you want to do? She's like, okay, fine. And it's just fun, because women are happy.
So wait a minute. So what happened, though, was what she wrote and the judge put lines through, was that your verbiage or her verbiage?
No. She wanted to go with, like I said, the Winston Shroud, the Cliff, she wanted to go with that stuff. And that's all that, you know what that stuff looks like. And my stuff is very plain, like, that's it.
So what did she go with?
She let the judge convince her to change it. And I was like, oh my God, you
What was it, yours to begin with?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was mine.
Okay, so he wanted to change particular words, right?
Because she felt more she felt more comfortable with the judge's words too. She's like, that's the words I wanted to use, Karl. And like, that's the words the judge used, and that's the way I wanted to write it.
And some of those words were like what? Children?
Yeah, children, and defendant instead of wrongdoer, stuff like that. We're not at court. We're in the court. You know, he wanted to say, no, we're not at court. We're in the court. So see, when I say this, somebody says, well, where do you live? You know, where you live? Well, I live in Virginia. Oh, really? You live inside of the rocks and the gravel and the dirt and the mud. You live in Virginia. You live actually inside of it. See, so when they're saying in the Queen's Bench, so you're actually part of the Queen's Bench. So you're actually an ingredient in their case there, you know, and they have actual jurisdiction over you because you're inside of it. And
So what do you say?
You're at the bench. You're at the Queen's Bench. You're at it. So when you say, so on everybody's head on the very top, it says in the United States District Court of Middle Alabama. So you say, at the District Court of da-da-da-da. I'm just at that place. I'm not in that place. I'm holding my court at that place. So where are we going to meet up at the Lentz Court or the Angela Court? Where's the Angela Court going to meet? At U.S. District Court. We're not going to meet in the U.S. District Court. We're going to meet at the U.S. District Court. Because if you meet in the District Court, then you're going to have to abide by their rules of the District Court. You're going to call your own rules. You're making your own rules for the Angela Court. And then you're going to provide both sides with the rules of court. Because it's the Angela Court that's going to be at the United States District Court. And these are the rules we're following. Because until then, it's just an empty freaking building. Until Angela Court arrives. And these are the rules that she's going to play by. She wants the judge to do this. She wants to, like say, the rules of the dance. She wants to call the tune, and she wants to make it a waltz. And this is how we're going to act, and this is how we're going to dress, and this is the performance we're going to put on before that jury. And the jury's going to deem whether my act has merit, my case has merit.
Okay, so the judge put lines through certain words and terminologies, told her to change it, right?
Right, and she did.
Did the judge sign it?
No, the judge didn't sign that, but she agreed to change the words, and then she called me up.
She agreed to change the words, but she didn't do it right there
Well,
then.
She did it right there and then in front of the judge. She did it right there and then in front of the judge. She called me up, and I was beyond upset. But I'm not really mad, but I'm upset. I'm like, ma'am, do you want me to do this, or do you want the judge to do it for you? Who do you want to help? Like, you trust this guy? Trust him. You know what? You never met me from Adam. You know what? If you don't trust me, fine. No, do what the judge tells you to do.
Did it hurt the case then when she changed them?
Yeah, so what she did is she went back the next day and she modified it. And she put it back.
Okay.
No, it stands. The way I said, my word is my bond and it's golden. And all I have is my name, my good name, my bond, my word is my bond. Don't forget, no word, don't take no word away. And she said, I'm letting it ride. I said, this is like playing poker, you're all in. So what the judge said, he's like, well, why don't you take out half your chips? So you're really sure you really sure 4 aces is going to beat us? You really sure? You think 4 aces is the best hand in poker? You think so? Because I gave her 4 aces. I said, this is the best hand you're ever going to have, lady. Just put it all in. So the judge said, well, you know what, lady, you try to bluff her. Saying, well, I don't think you really know what you're doing and you think you got what you got. You know, you can pull your chips back off the table and just put 2 or 3 in. I said, lady, you go back there and you say, I'm all in. And when this guy wants to say, she wanted the delay of the trial. I said, man, you did what? You put a stay in? I said, man, you take your hat off and you throw it on the damn floor and say, I want a trial, I want a freaking now. Convene court now. The court is here, I am present, the queen is here, I demand. You see the jury, I want this on and I want it on now. I said, because they could smell fear that you wanted to put a stay, because that means you're not ready. The queen's not ready. The queen's never intimidated. It's her freaking court. She's going to hold it, she's going to hold it now. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're holding now. The judge told me that in Alabama. He says, oh, Karl, please, man, don't do that to me, because he seen how I was going. I said, what's the term of the court? First I asked the judge, when's the court open? And he's like, well, they just shipped me here from the Supreme Court of Alabama. I don't know. He said, bailiff, when's the court open? He said, 9 to 5. I said, judge, you think I'm a schmuck? He's like, what? When's the court open? He's like, 24/7, 365. I said, bingo. I said, what's the term of this court? I said, 6 months or a year? He said, a year. Good. So he understood what I meant by, I said, what's the term of this court? He said, 1 year from the date right now. I said, from the inception, right now, when you're seated and present? He said, yes. Okay, not predating? He said, no. Good. This is lovely. I said, when can I hold court? He He says, oh, Karl, you're not going to do that to me, are you? I said, sir, just answer the question. I'm establishing the rules of the court, and I did this verbally. I said, well, I didn't do it in writing. The district attorney side, he had no idea what I was saying. First, they were laughing their ass off when I was asking these questions. Then they were concentrating, like, what was Karl asking this guy? I said, one guy in the whole court, sir. He says, oh, Karl, you're not going to do that to me, are you? He said, I live like a couple of counties away. I said, sir, I live in another state. But, sir, when does court convene? He says, whenever you wish. I said, there you go. I said, so that means what? 3 o'clock in the morning? I decide to tell you to convene court, and you're going to come here and open court, and we're going to hold it? He says, Karl, come on, let's be reasonable about this. I said, what do you believe is reasonable, sir? He says, how about you give me at least 2 weeks' notice? I said, I'll do you better. How about a month? He said, a month? He said, wow, that's great. I said, sir, you live 3 counties away. I live 5 states away. He says, okay. He says, I can see, like you're a reasonable fellow. I can work with you. I said, sir, I'm more than reasonable. I said, I just want this all to end. I already got my kids back. I just want this record expunged. I said, this is all I'm working on now. I need these people to admit that they did wrong. He says, okay. He says, we'll have a hearing for a show cause in order to show cause. See, this is the 30th hearing. And an order to show cause is ridiculous on the 30th hearing. I'm saying, ordering to show why my child was taken. 29 times I demanded to know why he was taken. They would never tell me. He says, you're kidding me. This is the 30th time you're doing the order to show cause. I said, bingo. I said, because I never had a judge who was willing to work with me. He says, okay, we'll get this thing on in a month. Now we'll see you November, I think it was 25th. And we got it on. And there you go. And you folks know the rest of the story because I did 20 other calls with you. But that's how you hold court. You call the rules. And if you know the rules, the judge will work with you. So I don't want to hear, oh, these judges, you know the rules of court. The district attorney didn't even know the rules of the court. The judge did. I did. Because 2 of my friends are judges. I know the rules of the court. I know when a judge has to work. I know when he has to get up and perform. Anytime I wish. I'm the moving party. It's my court. It's the Lentz court. So the judge kind of understood that Jessie was starting to learn really quick. She was picking on this stuff really quick, and then she was starting to hold her ground. And then they realized, like she said, the Crown, she said the DHR, the social services, they said they're scared shitless of us. Now, I said, yeah, you went from being a joke to being scared shitless of you, right? She said, yep. So there you go. I said, I hope I could teach you enough to make you understand why they're scared of you. So it's going to take a little bit, but hopefully I'll have time to work with you to show you why they're scared of you now. Because they realize what can happen. It's big time.
That's
so,
amazing.
Yeah, I'm not telling anybody yet what she can do, believe me. So I just want to see how she's going to take this a little bit at a time. We're going to do step by step. I'm not going to scare or intimidate her. So I just want to get her kids, make sure they're safe somewhere, and we'll go from there. It might take a couple of years, but we'll take our time.
Yeah, I think you already won the kids. I mean, she won the kids, right? So
the big thing is protecting them now. I mean, like I said, they could just stop her going down the road with the minivan, and they could just say this kid's seatbelt was untightened, or the kid had they found a bag of some sort of drugs in the car, and you guys are gone. The kids are gone. I said, you got to be beyond sweetest part of these people. Be humble. Don't say in your face. Yes, I showed you we were going to win. Yes, touchdown. Don't. I said,
well, she should probably move.
Oh, obviously, but I didn't tell her that yet. So, like I said, it's how she feels. So you see what I'm saying? How she's getting a bond, and how she acts towards the other side. You know, I moved out of Alabama immediately. Believe me. You know, the Alabama Bureau of Investigation, like the FBI, the ABI. He said, what? I said, I talked to the Attorney General, and he said, get the hell out of my state. And I said, I called the ABI, the reporter, and he told me that. And she said, let me get the videotapes from it was called, what was the name of that house down in Alabama? State House it was called. She said, I'll pull a video. I said, I was right there, up in the lobby, in the second floor, in front of his office. They told me to get the hell out of state. And she called me back, and I was driving up about 100 miles north, and she said, yeah, we saw what happened. If I was you, I'd get the hell out of state, and I'll come back. She's like, why? I said, man, but that's a crime. She said, sir, we work for him. He's the one who's going to prosecute him. He said, do you think he's going to prosecute himself? That's not going to happen. I said, but the state troopers were there. She said, those aren't state troopers. I said, but they're wearing uniforms. She said, we recognize those his boyfriends. I was like, what? That's his boyfriends. She said, sir, you don't need to know anymore. And that's funny, if you guys don't believe me, his name was Troy King. And he got busted by his wife for sleeping with the homecoming king of Troy University in Alabama a couple of years ago. So you can Google it, say Troy King, the state of Alabama's prosecuting attorney, state attorney general, busted with the homecoming king of Troy University by his wife. So he got his. You know what I'm saying? So I said, look, maybe I didn't get him, but God got him. You know, so I say to people, look, they'll all get there somehow, someday. So, but like I said, I hear a lot of stuff on these talk shows now, and a lot of people are saying, like, I'll take over the prison. And,
do you want to take any questions, Karl?
Sure. If somebody wants to ask me, sure, that's fine.
All right. If anybody has a question, you know the deal. Press *8. Highball It has a question for you. Go ahead.
I talk to Chuck all the time.
Okay. You've been unmuted, my dear. Highball It. You've been unmuted. Unmute your phone. There you go.
I didn't really have a question, but I don't know how much of Jesse's call you heard, Angela, but she told Karl on the call that after the Crown attorney told her that these child protective people were scared shitless of her, apparently the Crown proceeded to pull these 20 or so witnesses or affidavits that they supposedly had in this record against her that were going to, you know, this and that. So she was very powerful. It's awesome.
Don't you lie? No, it is. It's so cool. I just love it. I wish we could see the paperwork.
Yeah, but you
post that? What, Karl?
You see what I'm saying, though? Like I said, to make a tough person, sometimes you gotta crack them in the head to toughen them up. So the folks might not like my style. I'm very New York, and I'm very in your face. But if you have to be hardcore, because these people want to put you in a cage. Like poor Mr. Schwinn, or Schiff. He didn't hurt nobody. They want to put him in a cage. They're like, look, these people want to put you in a cage. A cage. They want to put you in a cage. You better be tough. You better not play with these people. They're going to put you in a cage. No patty cake. They're going to put you in a cage. Okay? Get your shit tight. Here we go. So it's almost like an intimidation. Who can intimidate the other person more? Can you intimidate a judge lady? And she did. Oh my God. It was brilliant. I loved it. I wish that was videotaped.
Oh gosh. Oh man, it would go viral.
Oh, yeah.
Get your kids back in 90 days, no?
3 days. But it's tenacity, though. I mean, and I was glad that she was adamant and that she was strong. And she might, like I said, I had to knock the delicate sensibilities out of her at the beginning, and she handled it. She tolerated my bullshit, and she let me drill her. It's like I guess like a raw recruit at from a corps. You know, he gets off the bus, and then he's got this
fighter.
Yeah. He drills his ass, and next thing you know, the kid's sharper than attack. But when he came off the bus, he was just a new Nintendo kid who was spoiled. Next thing you know, he's a man, and now he can stand anywhere on the planet and hold his own. So that's all I did to her. I just tried to drill her until she was, all that nonsense was out of her brain about it.
So she was primed and ready.
She was scary. I wouldn't want to talk against her now.
I wonder what she looks like. She's probably a little itty-bitty thing.
I'm sure it's funny. I finally asked her to send a picture because Greg keeps asking me. And, I don't care. I care, because I'm going to love to see these kids, and I'm going to love that she says, hey, you see that crazy-looking dude, that biker-looking dude? Yeah, don't trust butthead guys. Trust bikers, because bikers will come from all over the planet and help you. And I was like, well, the kids will be like, wow, I'm supposed to be afraid of one guys? No, this is the guy, these are the guys who saved your life. These are the guys who are real people.
Yeah.
Suit and tie guys. So, like, he's just some clown. Any questions?
Doesn't it make you feel good, though? Doesn't it make you really feel so good? The gratification when something like that happens. No amount of money can make you feel like that.
I couldn't believe it happened that quick. I said, I thought she messed up big time. I said, oh my God, you lost the court. I was saying to myself, oh my God, here we go. I said, you want to send me back I'll tighten it up, I'll make it a little bit tighter. We'll get them next week. She said, no, it's over. I said, what? Yeah, it's over. I said, oh, God bless you. I said, I am so freaking tired of this. I said, can you just win? Can somebody just win one for the team? Can somebody just do it? Can we just win one just to show people that we don't have to overthrow these courts? We don't have to lynch the sheriffs. We don't have to shoot DHL workers in the head when it comes out. Can we show people that we can win with the violence? With the violence. We just do it with a piece of paper and a sentence to do. We just show people it can be done. And calm everybody the F down. That's what I'm trying to do. It can be done. With a couple of sentences, it's done. We're going home. We're taking the kids. Goodbye. What? No, a call bubble never works. The calls are corrupt and they make millions and billions and trillions of dollars. I'm telling you, it'll work. Trust me. No, we gotta throw them and burn everybody. No, I'm not doing it.
You know, it'd be nice is if we could do a reenactment. You know how they make videos with those little robotic voices and those little robotic people?
I think she did a great job, man. I think she...
reenact the whole thing. It would be great learning tool for people.
Because this is what's good, because, see, like, I think they're called, like, shills. Like, Gordon Hall would do that. He'd say, and then, my brother, what happened? And then what? It's like, oh, man, this is a setup call. This is belonging. Gordon, look, I don't want people to think that me and some lady concocted this crazy stuff. You know, like, she's going to give you guys, I guess, whatever the case number is. You can see there was an actual case that happened there. We actually have, God bless her, man, she PDF'd me the handwriting from the court clerk lady, scribbling out all my stuff and writing her stuff in, and then signing in at the end and say, this is the way we'll accept it. We won't accept it this way, but we will accept it that way. And she signed her name. She said, oh, my God.
Oh, somebody did sign it then?
Yeah, she signed her name. She wrote that we will not accept it in this form, but we will accept it in this format.
Was that the judge that signed it, or?
Head court clerks, the lady who's around for 50 years. That judge is a bimbo. That judge guy is a clown. He's only there for maybe a year or two. But that court clerk, she's there from the day she starts at 20 years old till 70. She knows everything. The one in charge of the court. The court clerk is the one in charge of the court, not the guy in the black robe.
Right.
She's in the cases. She pays him. No, you don't mess with the court clerks. You better be on your best behavior with her. You can mess with the guy in the black robe, piss that court clerk lady off.
Okay, but you're saying the court clerk said, we won't accept it that way, we'll accept it this way, and then signed it, and then you put it back to the way it was.
You're right, but that was the lawsuit. See, first it was the habeas corpus that her and the judge sat down, but it wasn't this habeas corpus, because that's what you guys know. I call it restoration of property. You guys call it habeas corpus. Okay? We did a habeas corpus. And the judge sat down with her and tried to change those words. Instead of saying the habeas corpus, like the person being returned, the property being returned, he said, can you use the word children? And she agreed. She said, yeah, I feel better. I don't really like you. He said something about Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. We don't use property anymore. And he like made a face with her like she was sucking lemon. She said, he's like, no, property. We don't use that. That's an ugly word. I think Lincoln freed the slaves. We don't call children property. That's what I freaking do. I said, lady, you... that's what I told her. I said, if you want one more damn phone call from me, if you want me to talk all the time, you're going to put that back to where I put it, or I'm done. You're going to find somebody else. You know what? Why don't you go to Dean Clifford and do uppercase, lowercase? Go ahead and play that nonsense. I'm done. Now, you're either going to let my stuff ride, and trust me, and we're all in, or we're not. What do you want to do? And she said, God bless her. She said, well, I'm all in. Well, thank God you got balls, lady. Sometimes balls is all you need.
Yeah, well, she probably thought about it, too, and it makes sense what you're saying.
It's
you just want to be in control. It's your court. You have to be the king.
But it's still
you have to act like the king.
But it's still scary.
Sure.
It's still fun. To be the star on the stage. You're the one. Now, it's your court. Now you run it with the ball, honey. It's all you. I can't be there for you, lady. Believe me, if you can afford to farm me up there, I'll be there. But honestly, lady, you've got to do this on your own. She did. So God bless her, man. What a wonderful story. You have no idea.
No, I have to go back and listen to her. Do you have it highlighted? Does it show the little eye symbol?
Yeah, just whatever the Thursday was, that's her. And it goes back maybe 2-3 weeks. Thursday. I think she was the very first reason why I started a call on Thursday. She called me up on Wednesday or Thursday and started talking to me, say, honey, stop. I got hundreds of women asking me the same damn thing. I said, I can't handle 100 phone calls. I'm going to start my own shoe. I said, you know, like 5 out of 7 land use weeks, but now she's going over to the tax season. She's doing taxes. You know what? Let them do their taxes. Everybody's used to hearing me on Thursday. Fine. You know what? It's Thursday. Honey, let me start one of these things up. I don't know how to start one of these things up. Let me start it up, and let's see. Let's go from here. And then we did it, and the rest of the history. It's unbelievable how fast it worked, though, man.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. I just love it, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I had to beat all that stuff out of her brain, all the other stuff she knew. So that's what I say to people. I usually do a lot better with people who have never watched a YouTube video, never heard of like Winston Shroud or Karl Miller, never heard of Dean, never heard of any of these people. I usually do a lot better with a blank piece of slate. And I just drill my stuff into them, and I can get it done in no time. But I have to combat her stuff. She's like, well, I'm the living divine providence. She was all wrapped up. I said, man, please don't even go there. And then my buddy sent me a video. I watched it for like 3 minutes. I said, I can't handle this.
Okay, so instead of divine providence or pro se, what do you just say, woman? Or
she just said, I a woman.
Yeah.
I a woman. She just said, arsenal, claim, wrongdoers, did trespass upon my property. That was the whole lawsuit.
Wow, I love it. Are you going to post that somewhere or what?
But I'm saying if anybody listens to the show, there you go. That's the whole sentence. And everybody's a little bit different. That's basically the whole lawsuit. And all you're basically doing is then you're just saying, waiting for an answer from the other side for 20 days. She allowed it to go for 20 days, which is obscene, because that's children that we're talking about. It's like let's put it this way. If somebody stole your basket of tomatoes, or your truckload of apples, or your boat of bananas, you don't have 20 days to bring it to market. You want it court convenient, you want it now, and you want to verdict rendered, and you want a trial, and you want it now, because that fruit is going to rot. So to wait for 20 days to debate whether or not somebody kidnapped my kids, the kidnappers to bring my kids back, and that is obscene. I want my kid, I want to freaking now. I'm holding court, and I'm holding court now. So see, that's where the judge in Alabama realized where I was going with this. He said, oh no, man, you're going to... I said, look, I already got my kid. Don't worry about it. This is just to, expunge the record. Right. But I didn't do no wrong. I said, I already got my kid. I already had it for a year before I made that other judge come up from the Supreme Court to hear the matter. I said, so the kid was fine. No danger with him. He was out of the state before I really pushed their buttons. And that's what I'm telling this Jesse, and make sure you really got these kids safe. And like they said, I think this is a pretty good game plan. I heard a little bit. I think she said she's going to give the kids to the exes for a while. Wow. Which is a great idea. I didn't tell her that, but I think she understands what I'm saying. If you're going to start poking the stick in a grizzly bear, and you're living next door to that grizzly bear, and they got the guns, and you don't want to move, you better protect those kids, and then you can poke the grizzly bear. Because if they still know your children are available to chomp on, man, they're going to use your children to threaten you, to take your children from you again. They're going to take them from you tomorrow. The day you get them, 2 minutes when you drive out of that parking lot, they can take them again. And then charge you with a crime. Right now, you're not charged with a crime. Next time, you will be charged with a crime. I said, so you better be really careful. So, like I said, I think she's already spinning in her head that she better work with the ex-in-laws and exes and, realize that this isn't over. I said, you guys got to be really careful, man. This stuff isn't over. They got the guns, and they're not done. And if you make them afraid, they're going to make sure that they're not afraid anymore. They know people. They're going to level the playing field.
We got another question. Shrink Rat has one for you.
Hey, the doc, I ain't heard from him in a long time.
Go ahead, Shrink Rat. You're on.
Hi, Karl. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hi, Angela. Of course.
Hi.
Anyway, I have a question unrelated to your current case, but I have a question. You may have said this before. I imagine you probably advised her to move, but she's got those in-laws that she has to deal with who are in that area, I imagine. Mm-hmm. Yes, sure. So, so there's complications. But anyway, there's a real quick question, and kind of related. I mean, it's related to what you're talking about in a sense, but I just wondered if you knew of any I've got some stuff on common law, but I'm looking for something that's more appropriate to the subject at hand, and wondering if you knew of any good references for that. For common law? Like how I idea how to move cases, how to do the things that you're speaking of, so I can
read and learn that way as well.
Yeah, see, somebody said that to me. You know what? I honestly, it's funny. It's like when I worked for Sony and Dell. I would explain to people how to work with their computer, and every part of the computer they wanted to know, whether it was memory, whether it was ROM or RAM memory, anything. And I explained to them all about 10, 15 minutes. And they said, well, you should write a book. I said, the book would be 10 pages long. I said, see, Microsoft, when Gates writes a book that's 1,000 pages long, he says, I got that book, but I can't read past page 1. I said, that's the whole trick. They keep making money, confusing you people by making this thing seem more complicated than it is. If I actually wrote a book, how to do this stuff, it'd be about 10 pages long. I can't believe I made more than horseshoes. This stuff is so simple, it's scary. You know, so it's like, where do you find this? It's like, you know, basically by talking to like people who are like 90 years old, you know, they told me, you know, when they were 60s and their 70s, I just learned this from growing up around these people, that this is how courts work. So this is what I believe how courts work. So when some lawyer tries to come and trick me and tell me this is how courts work, I go, no, it don't work like this. It work like this. And I'm like, no. I said, no, you're just trying to trick me. This is too simple. Has somebody got a claim? Is there a wrong? There has to be a wrong. Somebody has to be wrong. Who's going to come forth and make the claim of the wrong? An attorney can't make the claim of a wrong. There has to be, that's why I told you folks, this stuff will not work against another man or woman. If you do wrong to another man or woman, you better settle this thing. But will work against any government or corporation or yes. As long as you could show, yes, you might have had a contract with the federal government. Yes, you had a contract with the IRS. Yes, you have a contract with Social Security. Yes, you're bound to these people. All you basically do is you slowly pull out of the contract and say, I no longer see what the benefit here to me, and I'm going to have to find like I said, a better insurance company to work with, or better, you know, whatever agency to work with. Not see any benefits working any longer. Please cease and desist any further communications with me. Thank you. Have a glorious day. Godspeed. And slowly pull out. And then when they try to keep trying to draw you back in, you just gave them fair warning. Didn't you understand what I said to you the first time? I told you I no longer want to be your husband or wife. I don't want to be bound to anymore. I don't want to be your girlfriend or boyfriend anymore. Now you're stalking me. You're going to have to back off, and I mean now. You see, so basically that's all common law is. So how do you actually find it in a book? Oh, because I'm just really confused the hell out of you guys. You know, because the common law, the English common law is very convoluted and complicated. So when you follow the English common law steps, it is like the Queensberry rules. It's like, okay, you're volley. Oh, now you're foil. Now I'm parrying. Now you're countering. No, what? I make a freaking claim. I'm the injured party. Did you trespass? Yes or no? All I want to hear is yes or no. I don't want to hear no counterclaim. You just yes or no. That's it. That's America. If you don't like the United States of America rules of court, there's France. Are they trying to turn us into France? Into a cold world? You betcha. I'm serious. There's a guy, Greg, in Chicago. He wants to write like a little book of, and my cousin is a publisher of Penguin Publishing, which is the biggest textbook company in the world for educational books. So you Google Penguin Books and you'll say, oh my God, she's the publisher of that. Yes, I could have any book published I want in any minute I want. So Greg is thinking about, let's use this lady's story as a way to show people how simple common law is. I said, but the book's only going to be 20, 30 pages long. How long could it be? I said, common law is so simple, it's scary. English common law, that's going to take volumes. You know, English common law statute. English common law is a written, standard, rigid pattern, black and white. It's a statute.
Well, can I interject something?
Sure.
I know that at least I have read from fairly reliable researchers that the Supreme Court, way back when, adopted British common law. And I'm not sure in the countryside if that was the case or not. But when you have a way then of being able to go into the court and immediately assert the regular common law, I imagine that you're referring to and that you use.
The Supreme Court, you guys got to get this through your heads. There's a little place that's 10 miles by 10 miles square.
Oh, I understand that.
Let me explain to other people who don't know that. The Supreme Court is the supreme law of the Supreme Court of that jurisdiction, of that government. It's supposed to hear matters between the states, like that's a place of original jurisdiction, or between the president and the Congress. It has nothing to do with the 365 million people on the other side of that border. So if you people keep relying upon some sort of foreign government to dictate how you people should move your case, well, God bless you. You want to move under their jurisdiction? You use all the Supreme Court rules you want. You just go right ahead. I just compare my claim to Hale versus Hinkle. I never rely upon Hale versus Hinkle, but I'll attach it as an exhibit and say, well, you people understand Hale versus Hinkle real well, right? You understand it's a produce company, and they didn't want to release all their records. They just wanted to release the banana imports that the New York State Attorney General wanted. They didn't want to release all the apples and oranges and banana records. They wanted to make it specifically, you wanted to know how we dealt with importing bananas. Now, to Hale versus Hinkle, if you're going to rely on Hale versus Hinkle, are you trying to tell me that you're an import-export of fruits and vegetables? So when you rely upon Hale versus Hinkle, that sounds ridiculous to me. Oh, Hale versus Hinkle has some lovely stuff about what a corporation is and what a person is and what a man is. Lovely stuff. But this has to do about fruits and vegetables. Well, how are you making your case based on that? It was just an accountant didn't want to turn over the records, all the records of the company, because it took a boatload of paperwork. He said, you know how long it's going to take to give us all the paperwork to the Attorney General of New York State? This is ridiculous. Can he just tell us what he wants us to take out of our file, and we'll be all glad to give it to him? Then he tried to use the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, on behalf of a corporation. So you guys all use Hale versus Hinkle and a corporation. And what a person is, Hale versus Hinkle is lovely to support your case, not to build your case on, just to say, look, Hale versus Hinkle established the rules, what a corporation was, what a person is, what a man is. Not only is that their belief, I believe that as well. Well, they maintain a position. The government only can maintain a position. The government can never have a belief. Only man can have a belief. So not only does the Supreme Court maintain that position, but I don't believe it's true. And it's relevant to my case that's now before this court. That's how I've used precedent, or case precedent, or Supreme Court rulings. Because they're all just opinions. Supreme Court doesn't make law. They just give opinions. That's all they do. They make opinions. And their opinion is just as, what happened if there was 12 Hillary Clintons sitting on the Supreme Court back then? Are you going to take the opinion of Hillary Clinton as how you're going to move your case? That'd be pretty scary if I'm talking to a fan of Hillary Clinton. So, it's just an opinion. The common law is still the ultimate law of this land. And Jesse proved it, thank God. I don't have to argue with nobody no more. Yay. He said, Karl, just show us one case where you won. Okay, there you go. I'm done. Yay. That's how you do it. Let's run away.
Sounds like noise.
Oh, that's me. I'm going to mute myself out and just listen because I'm trying to do something. My apologies.
Okay.
Sure. Talk to you soon.
Sounds like a scrunchy.
I'm sorry, I had to put that back in my ear. That's what the noise was.
Okay. No problem. Anybody else have a question? Press *8 or just type it into the chat room.
There's some guy named Greg Gorey, man. He helps me a lot. He's my researcher guy. Greg, why don't you come on real quick? Hit *8. Say hey to Angie.
No, he doesn't have to. I just unmuted him.
Okay. Hey, Greg.
Greg Gorey. That's a great name.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, who's that researcher guy that sends you all that stuff from Michigan?
Rob Ryder, yeah, he's another great guy.
You know Rob Ryder, right, Angela?
Yeah, I've had him on.
Yeah,
I don't know, 3 or 4 times, I guess.
I describe Rob as a giant bulldozer in a strip mine. And he just goes and goes and goes and goes, and he just peels layer by layer by layer. And he doesn't really stop long enough to actually go into a whole lot of usage of any one or any of the ideas, but he just goes and uncovers stuff and throws it up in the air and puts it in the dump truck, and then they take it back, and we all get to sift through it and look at it and go, okay, is there anything good in there today? And that's pretty much what Rob does. He's just relentless.
Yeah, see, Angela, Greg is my Rob Ryder. I just dump all this stuff into him. Greg will just mash all the stuff up. I said, just highlight it in yellow and send it back to me. Just hit me with highlights. So Greg is a hell of a researcher. He writes hell of a good contracts. So if you need a contract,
Wonderful to know.
yeah, you want a contract written, you write to Greg. He'll write you a hell of a contract.
Okay.
So that's what he's good for. So if you have
How does one get in touch with Greg?
I guess just Greg. I'll just send Greg. Can I send her your email?
I've got an email that I'm happy to share and post.
Okay. You can put it on here if you want to, man, or I'll send it to a private one if you want me to. It's up to you.
No, this is cool for public.
Okay.
LAWMAN@gmx.us.
Okay, that's lawman@gmax.us.
Almost GMX, 3 letters. GMX.us.
GMX. Yeah, I typed it right, but I said it wrong. lawman@gmx.us. Got it. Okay.
Right.
Let me give you my, that's a good idea. Let me give
The
you
contract guy.
Yeah, let me give you my email address while we're at it too.
Okay.
I'll give you guys a simple one. It's just called Court of Record at gmail.com.
Court of record?
Yep, Court of Record. That's all I do. All I do is get people into a Court of Record. That's all I do.
That's close to Rob Ryder's, isn't it? Court of record at...
It has Court of Record at AOL.com.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, so court of record at gmail.com?
Yeah, I like Google. He's an AOLer. I'm a Googler. Yeah, so he's a good guy. I like Rob, man, but like Greg said, he's a bulldozer, man. It's like
I know. I get a lot of emails. He posts a lot of stuff to YouTube too.
Yeah, if he would just stop and take a breath and try to decipher what he's reading, but he's reading it verbatim, but he's not really absorbing. He's trying to put it through his mind as he's talking on the radio at the same time. Like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of it seems like theory, not actual,
Right. Some
used in any process yet,
some alternatives.
Yeah, but that's great because, it's kind of like walking up to the spice rack. I've got all these ideas and theories on a spice rack, and I go, okay, what's Rob got in the spice rack? So I've got a whole folder and directory and everything, all that stuff sorted out, plus all the other stuff that I do on my own. But he's a great contributor to our general. He really is, and there's nobody that could ever say anything bad about him, other than maybe he should slow down on that smoking in between his talking on his videos.
He's got such a beautiful speaking voice, though,
Yes, he does.
Yeah, because one guy is funny. One of the guys, Charles. I like Charles. Sometimes we talk, but like saying Karl is marginally more competent in common law than Greg. I don't do common law. I do law that is common to me, and common to the people in my district, and common to the people in my society. I don't do common-law. That's statute. That is not common law to me. That's common law to the Crown or to England. Okay? Common law with a hyphen in it is Greg, why don't you explain what that means? Greg's really good at this. Go ahead, Greg. Tell him what a noun and diminishing a noun is. Show Greg Angela how wise you are and why I have you on my show all the time.
Sometimes we'll do little mini sessions about breaking down language and syntax and usage, just so people understand that just because you write or speak in a particular way that's common to you or frequented by the high schools and colleges, it doesn't necessarily imply or convey the meaning that you really want to have when it comes to a court of law or a lawsuit. For example, a trial by jury versus a jury trial. The final word in each of those things is the direct object, the noun, the thing that is being modified. A jury trial is a trial being modified by jury. And you can remove the word jury and still have a trial. And so it is an optional word. A trial by jury means the jury is the word that doesn't get removed. Okay, the phrase trial by becomes the modifying adjective phrase for the word jury. Whenever you have a word in front of a noun, it modifies it. Whenever you have a gerund phrase is actually a bunch of words thrown together that function as a single word. A participle phrase, on the other hand, is an adjective and functions collectively as a single adjective to modify a noun. And so you can take the same cluster of words and use them in two different ways in two different sentences. And how you do that, and where you put the emphasis, and where you put the commas, and how you put the verb in there, can have a dramatic effect on what the meaning of the sentence is. And believe me, when lawyers and judges read these documents, they've been reading so much that they speed read through this stuff, and they grab and catch all the important clauses and parts that they want to see, and they will know whether or not you're being, they know if you're writing poetry or if you're writing a legal document. All right, and you want to try to avoid writing poetry. You don't want to. This is not your English teacher. This is a judge.
Yeah, Greg, let me jump in for a minute there, because, Angela, when Greg tries to explain Karl's style, Karl's cadence, it almost sounds like a third grader writing a lawsuit. There's like no fluff, there's no connecting word, it's like see, spot, run. Karl's stuff is so ridiculous simple, like I said, because Greg really got into this, because I wrote a dictionary, like an encyclopedia, and I really mastered these words big time over the years. And Greg was on somebody else's call, and he was reading my claim of cognizance. And I was like, oh my God, you almost know what I'm thinking. You're close, guy, but you're not exactly close, so you can't stand in court for me. You can't read my stuff aloud in court because you're close, but the man, that claim is only specific to me, the man, because I wrote that claim. So it's my law. It's what's common to me. It's my common beliefs, and hopefully the society in which I'm in at this particular moment in history, hopefully they also believe that this is common knowledge and common practice and common conduct, how we should act amongst each other when we're in the public venue. Hopefully this is our common law. Like I said, Eskimos have a certain common law, Arapaho Indians have certain common law, and hopefully the people that I decided to become within this part of society doesn't believe that I'm doing anything wrong either. Hopefully, that's what makes common law. But like I said, this common hyphen law is very rigid. It's English, and the lady was trying to, the lady who won her kids back thought I was saying English common law. I was like, no, the judge will understand when I write common hyphen, when I do common, when I do law, colon, common, he'll understand that it's law that's common to you, not English common law, because you'll confuse him if you say common law. He's going to think we're operating under the rules of English common law, and that freaking stuff takes forever. My common law is, you stole my kid? Yeah, I want him back, and I want him back now. I'm not waiting for an answer or a rebuttal or a surgery. I'm not playing this Queensberry rules. This is common to the people around me. I'm telling you, I can put 12 people in that jury box right now, and I'll say, give it that lady back. I'm freaking kidding, give it back now. That's the common law. So, there you go. Oh, what's So, Angela, I guess you could have somebody else ask a question if they want.
Charles wants to get in on this, so let me... Where'd he go? Where'd you go, Charles? Oh, there you are. Okay, Charles, 8854, you've been unmuted. Hi.
Hi, Angela, thanks. Hi, Karl. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah, it was a nice discussion, folks. I'm glad to share at least a few moments with it here. And yeah, I'm glad you clarified your definition of common law, Karl, because I think we can agree to disagree that we've got different definitions of common law there. Because my definition of common law is based upon the writings of Blackstone and ancient history of England, and reaches clear back to past Magna Carta to the laws of Israel. And that's obviously quite entangled in history and tradition, and that's something quite different where
calls kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, Karl, but you kind of fly by the seat of your pants and just try to do what's conscionable before God, and that's more what you define as common law?
Well, as long as I'm not causing wrong and nobody's causing wrong to me, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, and that's your definition of common law, pretty much, right?
Don't do wrong, and I won't do wrong, and we'll be okay. Don't trespass upon my person. I won't trespass upon your person. I'm done. I could write the whole Bible on the back of a matchbox. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it. You guys can read the Bible if you want. I want to go dance out in the sunshine. I want to go raise tomatoes. I want to go kick a cow in the butt sitting on my car. You know, I got things to do. I got time for this law.
Yeah. Well, see, that raises one of the issues of that Greg and I were traversing too, was the issue of what happens when we got people among us that are trying to implement lawless force, and they don't respect our rights to go dance in the sunshine.
Well, that's why I did that one sentence lawsuit. The lady was done in 3 days, and then she got her kids back. I'm done. How much faster do you want me to do it?
Well, I don't want you to do anything faster. I want to talk about how to keep the guys with the guns, to keep their guns in the holsters.
That's what we did.
Well, it can get nastier than that. You got lucky there, I think, sure, but there are people that are not open to reason or good conscience, and they're just lawless criminals, and they're not going to be put down like a rabid dog. They're not going to be stopped until they're confronted with lawful force, I believe.
I don't think so, because like I said, I heard like Dean Clifford say yesterday on his show, he says when a policeman comes to your door, take your kids, that's the time to take a gun out and put a bullet through that guy's brain. I said, no way. I said, I don't believe in violence. To me is when you run out of intelligence. Violence to me, when you have to stoop down to violence, is when there's no other way out to think rationally. Then you have to resort to violence. I don't ever believe in resorting to violence until, man, I exhaust every administrative remedy. Believe me, I tried everything, because like I said, I don't have any disrespect for any state trooper. You know, I wanted to become a U.S. Marshal. I tried to study to become a border patrolman. My Spanish wasn't good enough. Believe me, I have real respect for these guys. You know, I actually provide them service. So I think it was inherently evil about these people. I met U.S. Marshals, and by the time we were done talking in 2 hours, it was like we were swapping oatmeal, raisin cookie recipes. They were
Well, how would you respond in the situation back 200 plus years ago when the Redcoats were marching through and pillaging and plundering the early American people?
I probably would have waited a little bit less. If it was me running the show, 1776 probably would have happened in like 1800. Yeah, I probably would have tried to work with the British for another 20 years. Yeah, probably.
But you do have a line that you'll that you recognize that there is a time to take up arms to resist tyranny and despotism?
Well, to me, like I said, if you wanted to say how what people know is the belief of why the revolutionary started, is because it was like a 5% tax on the people. Now it's a 40, 50, 60% tax on the people. So should have people went to arms a long time ago? Yeah, sure. But like I said, if you try to say to me, if I was one of the guys back in 1776, it's like, okay, we're going to tax 5%. Well, the English provide us forts and shelter and protection from the French and Indians, and they protect our coastlines, and they keep the commerce flowing, and we have a standard base of currency. It's called the pound. We got a common language. Yeah, you know what? I think the English are okay. I don't really have a problem with the crown. I could work.
Well, you seem to recognize that there is a time when the pathway of peace has been exhausted, and like the situation with the Redcoats, even after the founding fathers tried to exhaust the pathway of peace, that there is possible scenarios where one might have to resort to the use of a lawful force, not violence, but lawful force, to protect themselves from these people that are just unreasonable warmongers.
Well, like I said, I'm more Gandhi style. I'm more the Gandhi style. It's like, look, I'm going to make you look ridiculous attacking me because I'm not doing anything wrong. You're going to look ridiculous. And when all the people realize how ridiculous you look, like, you hurting this poor man and his kid, why? Did he do anything wrong to you? No. Eventually the people are going to just say, you know what? To me, lawful rebellion, what it should be is like, when if you want to do a lawful rebellion in Washington, D.C., good. Everybody go to watch Barack Obama speak. When he arrives, just when he starts to speak, have 1 million people turn their back on him. There you go. That's how I would do a lawful rebellion. I'd just turn my back and Barack Obama could speak to 1 million people's back.
Okay, but okay, wait a minute though. But, you know, let's say the man busts down your door, they're dressed like, you know, jackbooted thugs. You got 4 children in there, all under the age of 10, and the cop starts abusing your children, either kicking them, putting them on the floor, putting their feet on their chest, you know, putting their arms behind their back, whatever, something that is not right. How would you deal with that?
Well,
Okay,
let's put it in.
Karl, let me take this, please.
Do that real quick. Explain why. That's right. U.S. Marshals.
I'm gonna make this really simple and practical. If a group of men with badges breaks down your door in the middle of the night and comes doing this, and you open fire, I'll guarantee you 2 things. The first guy in line is going to be hit, and you are going to be dead. Your children are not going to have a father, and the whole thing is going to be over in a New York Minute, and it's going to be on the front page of the Fox News. That will be the end of the story, and they will spin it the way they want. You want to live to fight another day, or do you want to be dramatic?
So how would you handle it?
That's not how I handle it, Greg. I'll explain how I handled it, man. I made sure that this handled it. No, Greg, she asked me, let me answer this. I made sure this never handled again. That's why I showed you folks where I live. I showed you the mountains where I live. I showed you I got 3 natural springs. I got plenty of fresh water to last me 1 million years. I got my kids so far out of society, out of your society that has jackboot thugs that'll kick in your door. I understand the danger in living in your society. So I left, and I bailed out. U.S. Marshals can't find me. They had to go to my sister's school and bug her for like 3 weeks to say, get Karl out of the mountains and get him down here to talk to us. And I did. But that's what I'm trying to say. I realize the dangers of your society that you're living in. And if you people feel like living in that society where that could possibly happen to you, well, God bless you. You know the dangers. You know when you intercourse with strangers, you know you're going to pick up a communicable disease. So you know that this is the potential which might happen within your society. So either you protect your society and teach everybody else in society that we're not going to tolerate this, or you're going to move up into the mountains. It's your choice. How much are you people going to tolerate before everybody else in society realizes, hey, first they did it to the gypsies, then the Jews, then the Catholics. Now they're coming for us. It's how much of a threshold, like this, me and Greg talk about this all the time. I'm sure there's some sort of statisticians and some sort of risk management in the government saying how much taxes will the people tolerate before they revolt? How much gas prices will people tolerate before they revolt? How much charge on a cigarette will these people tolerate before they revolt? I'm sure these people are bouncing numbers like crazy. And that's seeing how far they can push society before society pushes back. And then they try to just run you guys until they get 99% of everything you own. Because they're going to slowly boil you guys like a pot in the water. You know, do it in cold water, and you guys will get used to acclimate to the pressure. And you'll tolerate it until you realize it's too late, you're dead. So now can you convince all the people in society to follow you? No. If you can't get the people, your neighbors to follow you, do what I did. Bug out. Leave. So you know what? I like living in Vegas. I thought that great.
Okay, but wait a minute. You're in your abode, cozy and nice and comfy, minding your own business, you know, playing with your children, and, you know, a jackbooted thug beats down your door, grabs your kid, puts his face in the ground, puts his knee on his back, and says he's taking him for whatever reason. You know, in the meantime, he breaks his arm.
What I'm saying is, this is what happened. Okay, let me give you a little story.
How do you handle that? I mean, you say, excuse me, sir, you don't want to do that to my child, or you're hurting my child, or what? I mean, how do you... I'd like to know, because, God, that would be a terrible thing to happen.
I'm going to tell you, if you live in L.A. Central, you know that's going to happen to you someday. So like I said, what happened up here, this is what happened up here in the Adirondacks one time. Some trooper was giving an old man a hard time who lived in a really Adirondack community. It was one road in, one road out, and looped around the mountains, and there was only one way in, one way out. They thought they were gonna give this old man a hard time. They came in that one road, they chopped the tree down behind that road. Those troopers never left. They came in with these big old helicopters, found all the squad cars. They couldn't find anybody in them. They're all gone. That's the society where if you come up into here, you got to be really careful who you're messing with. I don't care if you're jackbooted thug. You think you're tough? Come up into this valley and see how you're going to leave, if you're going to leave. So, but like I said, if that's how you people want to live in L.A., God bless you. These people up here, they don't play. You come into their mountain, you come into their valley, you better have a damn good reason. You know, so if that's the society I live in, and this is the common law practices, I don't lock my doors. My car's keys are in my car right now. Nobody locks their windows and cars down here where I live. Nobody's terrified of a black booted thug because we decided to make our own society removed from the other societies. So if you folks want to be in that society, I'm still on the internet. I can still talk to you people. You know, I'm not like living like with a hermit. You know, like my beard down my ankles. My kids get to play with goats and cattle and, you know, kittens. They're having a ball. You know, if you guys want to live in the city, live in the city. You know, so like you said, black, you gotta know that's part of the society in which you guys are tolerated, allowed to be created. I left. I realized, you know what, I'm not going to convince my neighbors that this is wrong. If people in Vegas want to live like this, you know what, I gotta go. I'm not going to let my kids raise up in this society. That's why my mom left New York and brought us to Virginia. First she lived in Brooklyn when they got off the boat. As soon as they saved up money, we lived on a chicken farm when we were kids. She had 2 more kids when I was in my 20s. And she said, we're moving to Virginia. I said, why, Mom? She said, you loved living on a farm when you were a kid, right? She's like, yeah, so we're going to move to Virginia, middle of nowhere, and live on a farm. So these 2 newborn babies have the same experience you guys did. Yeah, like I never drank, didn't do drugs, I don't smoke, I've never been drunk a day in my life. But my mom isolated me from society. She did the same thing with my other brothers and sisters. She isolated them from society. She didn't want them to be part of it. So it all depends on what you choose. It's all free will. And like I said to the lady, I want to hit you between the eyes, it's all your fault. And then I say, people, you really want to deal with that? You want to really reflect that I just said it's all your fault. Why your society is the way you want it to be, and why you act the way you want to be. You put your feet on the floor in the morning when you were 18, you told your mommy and daddy, go F off. It's been all on you from that day on.
I like the peaceful method too, myself. I'm not into violence at all. But, you know, if you try to kill me, you know, you're not going to let a person go ahead and just kill you, or maybe you do. Maybe, you know, you just say, oh, well, that's what Gandhi would have done, right? You'd have just let somebody kill him if that's what they wanted to do. If you're prepared to meet your maker, I guess it's really not that big a deal.
Well, Gandhi was smart. He knew they wouldn't literally kill him. He just knew they'd get a beating because they couldn't justify killing, but they could justify the British might beat you, but they're not.
No. They killed a lot of people.
What I'm saying is if they fought back, if they came with bows and arrows or spears or guns, they would have massacred millions of those Indian people instead of just maybe killing thousands. They would have killed the whole country. They would have wiped that place off the map. They would say, well, we're justified. They're coming at us with guns. We got to fight back. How do you fight back with a guy who's turning their back on you? How do you justify shooting the guy in the back? It's like, I don't know, I can't shoot a guy in the back. So the soldiers would be like, I can't shoot a guy in the back. You know, okay, yeah, sure, maybe you'll find a couple of soldiers who say, you know what, I can shoot a guy in the back, but the majority of the military, the majority of the police is not going to shoot you in the back. I'm a big guy, and believe me, I give up so fast that these cops, it's like, I'm their best friend.
Look at Waco, though. I mean, they'll burn your children if you've got 50 children in there. It's nothing for them to drive a tank in there and set the place on fire, just to make an example of you. But I don't even want to dwell on that subject, really. I'd rather get away from it now. We've gone as far as I think we're going to go with it. I would like to turn the attention over to the fact that they're going to be issuing those new $100 bills. Have you seen them?
Oh, no.
You haven't seen the new $100 bill?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Oh, my gosh. On the left, it's black and white. And on the right, it's in living color. And it's got like a feather pen quill thing there. And it's in gold ink. And the inkwell is in gold ink. And the 100 is in gold ink. And behind it is the Declaration of Independence verbiage, the part that says, we have the right to abolish the government. Both signatures are now on the left, on the dead, you know, corporate fiction side, and the black and white side. And what else? The green stamp is still on the right. Let's see what else. I can't remember what else. But it's, I find it really interesting that the verbiage about abolishing the government if it gets, tyrannical or whatever, is right there on the $100 bill in handwriting. Like it's from the original Declaration of Independence. Isn't that interesting? And I've heard people speculate that they're going to stop doing they're considering stopping the fractional reserve system. Have you heard anything about that?
To stop doing fractional reserve banking?
Yeah.
To me, that's how banks work. I mean, how are they going to make money if they don't have a way to, create
there's an established international treaty that's been signed by most of the civilized countries. It's being pushed by China, Russia, India, and Malaysia, and they are sick and tired of the Federal Reserve just printing more money and buying up things for nothing. And so they are insisting on all currency of the world going back to be based on things of value, not necessarily gold, not gold. Gold is one of the things. Oil, corn, soybeans, water, you name it, anything.
Things of substance, right.
Substance, tangible assets, that all currency in the world. If a country doesn't have any oil, but they've got, a billion bushels of corn, well, that currency will be based on that. And that's how they're trying to restructure the currency of the world right now. And it's all been going on behind the scenes, slowly but surely. They're supposed to be 1/3 into the process right now. They're not. And they've had a lot of resistance from the European banking system that says, well, we're not ready. Can you give us just a little bit more time? Which translates into, we'd like to print a little bit more money to buy up the rest of the world before we change. But that's what's going on. So I don't know if the redesign of the dollar is actually significant, or if it's basically just a ruse, a placebo, or a pill for the American people to swallow. Oh, look, if they acknowledge the fact that we could abolish the government, well, that's like, I always told my kids, don't ever get rid of the right to free speech, because how could you pay for free espionage,
I know, it's still Federal Reserve note, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's still a reserve note, but the Federal Reserve's contract is over. Now they're operating on a new day-by-day, week-by-week contract.
Yeah, the two signatures, instead of being one on each side, is both signatures, one is on top of the other on the left side, in the black and white side. Just kind of interesting.
Yeah, so, over the next 10 years, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. See if everybody is honorable to that treaty.
Yeah, Amber just put a link up to it. So you can go look at that $100 bill. But I don't think you can look at it big enough to show the declaration verbiage. I think it's somewhere else. If you do new $100 bill in a Google search and then click on images, I think you'll be able to get one that you can blow up real big so you can read the words. So I find it so cool that they put that on there.
Let's have Amber send us the $100 bill so we can look at it up close.
Say what?
Can we just have Amber send us each a $100 bill so we can look at it up close?
That'd be nice. Hey Amber, did you hear that? I want in on that deal. Go take a look at me, and you tell me if you think anyone would be...
Oh, I said to them, go take a look at me on my website, and you tell me if you think anybody would be crazy enough to try to jackboot me.
Oh.
Greg is a very big boy, too. Greg is not a marshmallow, and neither am I. I carry trees down. One of the videos, you see me carrying a tree out of the mountain. So, I'm not a peewee. So I'd like to see somebody, and there's a reason why I'm a big man, so I can protect my family, protect my children, so nobody be crazy enough to try to eject me. they take a look at me on their website or something like that, say, oh my God, we're going to go in this man's house and try to intimidate him? Oh, this is a death march. You guys want to play? Let's rock and roll. Like I told you that on Angela on your show with the federal marshals. I said the very first thing they said, they started to read to me what they were going to do. And I said, look, they said, you record us if you want to. I said, no, I don't need to record you. I said, because we close this door, you look like a man and you look like a man. I said, if I step out of line and I say something inappropriate, you tell me to stop and I'll back off. After I tell you to stop and back off, if you're saying something to me that's inappropriate, I'll tell you to back off. And if you don't, we're going to rearrange the furniture. He said, what? I said, there's going to be some teeth laying on this floor when we're done. I said, this is the U.S. Marshals. I said, you respect me and I'll respect you. I said, but once we walk out our door, whatever happened in this room, it stays in this room. I'm not going to sue you and don't arrest me. I said, when I tell you to stop, you stop. You tell me to stop, I'll stop. If I get out of hand, you tell me to stop and I'll respect you. You get out of hand, I'll tell you to stop. You better respect me. And then after a couple of minutes, they said, we don't need to record you. This is ridiculous. You're a good guy. And they just shut the recording off. They said, now, Mr. Lentz, just tell us what the hell's going on. I said to them, I said, well, I filed a common law suit. And it's really scaring the bejesus out of scaring the bejesus out of the United States District Court. They're trying to convert my claim into a complaint. So they know when this claim goes through, I could wind up owning the state of Alabama. There's nobody who's going to be able to come forth and say that what they did wrong to me, it is not true. And I can make my claim for anything I want. There's nobody who's going to be able to answer my claim. They're scared. So I explained to them all what's happening. I laid out on a table. I showed them, all state courts are common law courts. All courts of record only operate under common law. All federal district courts are courts of record. I said, so, they're scared because I'm playing under their own rules. And he's like, oh my God, this is so simple, it's scary. I said, yes, that's why my lawsuit's 1 page long. It's scary. I could get somebody's kids back from them in like 2 or 3 days. I can move a claim to a court in 21 days and I can own your estate. I said, yes, it's a very scary piece of paper. It's very powerful because this is a common law country. This is not France. This is a very powerful piece of paper I put before the court, and that's why they want you to investigate me and see how serious I am to try to get monetary compensation. They said, well, how serious are you? I said, really? Give me $1. I'm fine. I'm good to go. I just basically would be left alone. But I said, I know this is going to scare the bejesus out of them. I put a big number down. I said to the Department of Justice, Sandy Callahan, he's a man. I said, he works for the criminal prosecutor in Montgomery, Birmingham. I said, he told me to put a whop over a number down in front of my whole family. He says, they're not going to care if you put $1 down, Karl. You better put a big number down. He says, you're going to scare the bejesus out of them, and then they'll take you serious. You put down $1, they'll give you $1. And then they'll just keep doing this to other women and children. You want them to stop? You better put a big number down, because that's the only way they're going to stop taking women and children. I said, okay. I said, so that's where I stand. I said to the U.S. Marshals, I said, that's where I stand. I said, I'm doing this for me, for your children, for everybody's child. And the guy was getting all misty-eyed on me. It was like, oh my God, you're a good guy. I said, that ain't got nothing to do with the money. I'm fine. I said, I got all the food I could ever need for 300 years. I got beautiful water. I got a beautiful mountain. I said, I'm a happy guy. I said, I got my kids. I said, I'm fine. I said, but this is what I was told to do to help them stop taking women's children from them. And this is what I'm doing. I said, so this is what I do. So they go, oh, you're not a bad guy. And they said to me, they said, well, we're supposed to take a picture of you and send it down, like in a dossier. They said, we'll just say we forgot. I said, tell them to take a picture of my driver's license. I said, oh, you want to make a funny face like this? And he said, nah, don't make a funny face. They'll think we're not doing our job up here. But they said, we'll put a good report in you. We'll say you're a good guy. You're harmless. I said, yeah, I'm harmless. I said, just don't mess with me, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. I said, go conquer the world. I said, I just want to be left alone. So that lady got her kid back, and then her kid's back, and that's all my goal was, to help that lady and show you guys that this stuff isn't rocket science, and the courts will respect you if you know how to hold court. Just don't get silly. Don't start playing this, oh, I got to stand up, sit down, spin around, sing, praises to loving spirit of Jesus, whatever you guys do. I said, just play it calm and cool. Just say, hey man, that's my property, I want to return it. Really simple.
Yep. I like it.
All right, Andrew, if you need help one day, just email me and say I got no guest, and I'll come on and give you a hand.
Okay, good. And are you going to have a call now? Are you going to continue on, or what?
Yeah, Greg, you want to do it still?
Yeah, for a couple minutes.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
So wait a minute. No, I just found a picture of this $100 bill it's got the verbiage on there to, let's see, the opinions of mankind. People to, okay, right above the numeral 100, right above where it says series 2009, it says people to alter or abolish it. That's right there. And I've got the link, so hold on 1 second. And I will send it to you. Oh, I just tried to see visit page. See if it's on here. Oh, shit. Not on there. Well, if you go to Google, oh gosh, I don't know how to see view original image. It says file not found. Let me copy it. Hold on. Copy. Save image as image $100 bill. 1 second here. Give out your call number there, Karl.
oh, it's 127469. I almost typed it wrong. I almost said it wrong again.
Oh gosh, yeah, you got dyslexia when it comes to the TalkShoe ID call. Okay, I'll put it, I don't know, if anybody wants it, I'll put it up on the website somewhere, I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on the banking page or something.
Yeah, what you could do, Angela, next week, I'm going to have Jesse come on a Thursday or something, on every Thursday like that. If you want to hear more adventures of her, ask her to come on your show. I'm sure she would.
Yeah, I would like to hear the whole story, you know, from beginning to end, and how she got into ship shape on such short notice.
What
way of thinking.
Angela, why don't you call me up privately for about a week or two, and you'll have an attitude like me, quick enough.
Yeah, probably. Oh, I don't have your number. Are you on Skype?
I'll send you my actual phone number. Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'll try it. I would love to be in. You know, Jack used to call me almost daily, and I'd be in on these conference calls with people, and it was really interesting. And I like doing that. I like, you know,
well, that's what I like.
think different remedies and different things and different ideas, and it's good. It's all part of the education process, I think, you know.
That's why you need somebody, like I say, I use Greg, that's why you need somebody like Rob Rod, and when you need to take a bathroom break or go outside and feed chickens, I say, Greg is going to take over the show for a little while, I'll be right back. And,
that's nice.
Yeah, that's why he helps me. I was trying to find somebody to help me host the show, because I don't want to be no host. You know, I just like sitting in the back, and you guys just ask a question, and you know, Greg, like I said, he carries the show like 80% of the time like that, and I'll just say, no, stop, right there. Let me tighten it up a little bit. That's what you need to do. Now, go ahead, Greg, keep going. You know? And every now and then I'll just pop my 2 cents in, and I'll just keep going. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah, is Greg still on? Oh, okay. So you guys are going to go on your call now and start it up and continue the conversation?
Yeah. We usually like talking more about debt and credit cards, and Greg's going through mortgage problems, so we like dealing with mortgages and banks and stuff like that, and Admiralty and UCC. I mean, see, I go totally off of common law in a half a heartbeat, because this other stuff is legitimate way to handle. Once you engage with these people, like they call intercourse and commerce, and once you intercourse with these people, start doing it with these other people, your product is your baby. When you intercourse, like they say, intercourse and commerce, it's just like a man and woman intercoursing. Your product is your baby. When you intercourse in commerce with mortgage companies or credit card companies, the product is your debt. So, you know, how are you going to deal with this debt? How are you going to deal with this baby? Do you want to be a man and pay child support, or do you want to just be a deadbeat dad and run like hell and try to play candy ass for the rest of your life, saying, I don't want to be liable for my debt, and let me see if I can sneak my way out of playing daddy? So see, this is how I compare it with credit card debt with common law. So I can, between, the two worlds real easy, and Greg knows it, like, verbatim, and I know how to make it sound, a deadbeat dad, and making a product of having a baby. So I bring it down to simple terms, and Greg will literally tell you the code. So, see, I just bring it down into terms that normal people can understand.
All right, then I'm going to close out the show then. You guys can get ready and go over on yours. For iDentist, you've got a question here, any word on chat, what exactly happened? We spoke about that earlier. No, we don't know the coroner's report. I don't think it's done yet. So...
Oh, you want to let that California man ask a question, or lady?
Oh, where do we... Oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see that. Go ahead, California. Forgive me.
Hi, Angela, you forgot about me.
I'm so sorry. Hi, Dallas. I didn't see it. I was typing in the chat, and
yeah, I had to start 3 times, so maybe something's not working.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I
was hoping I was Dallas. I love Dallas.
How are you, Karl? Yeah, I haven't listened to you, and you do a lot of things like the way I like to do them in court. I just don't like the statutory stuff. I just like to make them do what I want them to do.
Right.
And I ask a lot of questions and make them stick their feet in their mouth, and then I walk out. But I like the way you do it, though. You're a lot more assertive at them than I am. I just ask bunches of questions. I let them make the legal determinations. But I had a question, though. One of the calls you had, and something you had mentioned I'd never heard of before. I listened to the archives, and you mentioned about a claim, I think, of connuisance.
Oh, see, it's connuisance.
Connuisance? And how does that work, and what does it work on? What can you use it for, and how effective has it been so far that you've seen?
All right, well, we got 14 minutes. I'll do it real quick. The history of connuisance is very extremely simple. At one time, like the King of England, and you had the King of France. I'll give you a simple example with them. Say there was the King of France agreed to send over the King of England certain subjects, of his to be under the control of the King of England as servants or something like that, whatever he wanted, the ladies in waitings, whatever. The lady in waiting had it up to here with the Queen of England, so she decided to go back to the court of France, the King of France. So what would happen is the king would say, look, I gave you 300 bushels of wheat for a French lady in waiting. Where the hell did she go? If you got her hiding over there, we demand her back, and we demand her back now. So the King of France would look around in all his castles and say, there she is. You got to go back. And she's like, no, I'm a French citizen. I'm subject. No, you got to go back. You're in the wrong court. And that's all I'm saying with a claim of connuisance. Wow, I did that pretty quick. Did that like in 1 minute. A whole claim of connuisance is saying that you got me in the wrong court, and I want to go back over here where I belong. Did that pretty well wrap it up? I mean, I love your questions, man. Has anybody asked me questions over the years? I really like you and Highball or Hailstone. Hailstone is really good. Karl Miller is really good, and you're really good. I like your guys' questions.
Now, I heard in that call that you were going to send something to Angela that you had a claim of connuisance. I was looking for it on your link, but I didn't see that.
Okay.
It's something that you were sending to, and I sent you an email a couple of days ago, but I know you're real busy. Most likely.
I just happened to find this because, like I said, I live right next to a law library. I made sure I lived on the other side of the mountain of the law library when I wrote my dictionary. And I just happened to really like reading Old English law. And I said, oh, wow, this is how you get your property from one court into the proper court. And this is how you make a claim for it. I like this.
Right.
So I guess you're not going to find it. I guarantee you Googled it, you can't find it freaking nowhere, can you?
Not a whole lot of information about it. I mean, I read it in Black's Law Dictionary. I saw that some information about it there, but there, when I put it in Google, there's not a lot. I mean, they had dictionary definitions of the word, but nothing regarding actually what it is, how it's used, and so there was one document that I found on the internet that had a little bit of information about someone put on there, but it wasn't anything where you could actually use it in a court setting.
But now the way I explained it, do you see how you could probably use that in a court setting?
Yeah, they get it out of their jurisdiction and put it into yours.
Right, so I'm saying, just basically, yeah. Can you basically see how this would be useful the way I described it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. And the lawyers don't want to tell you anything that actually works. They want to give you this razzle-dazzle nonsense that they have control over.
Is that something that you sent to Angela that you had some kind of document that you were going to send to her?
Well, see, what's happened is PACER is a private corporation. PACER is not a public institute.
Yeah.
So only puts on what they want you folks to see, because people are saying, well, Karl, where's all your motions that you made in your case? I never made a single motion. I never made a single pleading. I never made a single petition. All I generate is claims and orders. So like, where's all the orders? I said, are you out of your mind? You think they're actually going to show you the orders that I placed in front of the district court down there in Alabama? So you people could just copy and paste my orders? Oh, there's 3 orders in there. But you're never going to see it unless you go to the clerk's desk and you say, can I actually see the physical copy of Karl's claim? They're not going to show you what I actually wrote, because they're like, oh, we're not going to continuance. No way, we're not going to do that. Or interference with access to the court. Oh, no, they're not going to let you see that. So somebody actually said, well, Karl, that's a crime. No, it's not. PACER is an independent contractor. They could put what they want in and not put in what they don't want. It's that simple.
You know, the one thing I thought about, one of my friends is going through a process. He's been in his house for about 2 years now and doing different things. It's in foreclosure. Back and forth. He's more statutory. I'm not. And I'm helping him wherever I can. But one thing that when he was in the court, in the federal court, the attorney ended up putting so much in there about 12b-6, so you state a claim. And I was sitting on thinking, you know, he's been filing complaints all this time, which is statutory, and claims are filed by men and women.
Uh-huh.
And that's why they kept saying 12b-6, so you state a claim, because he never filed it as a man.
Nobody ever knows how to explain a 12b-6. A 12b-6 is the most wonderful thing you can get. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Failure to state a claim?
No.
Yeah.
Not from your brain, no, I don't. From my brain, yes. From what I've seen so far, but not from yours.
Yeah, but it sounds like a horrible thing. People are like, oh my God, I just got my claim rejected because I failed to state a claim which relief could be granted. You're damn right. You're not going to grant me a damn thing. I'm going to take it because it's mine. You ain't going to grant me a freaking thing.
Oh, the word granted.
Yeah, that's one aspect of 12b-6. Oh, there's plenty more, believe me. I love 12b-6s. People hate getting charged with a crime. I love being charged, because I'm going to prove your charge is a false charge, and I'm going to get all that equity in that charge. Believe me, and that's got proof of $500, $50. Oh, charge me, buddy. Please charge me with a crime. Please charge me with something. I'm going to claim all equity in that charging instrument. Believe me. Because nobody else is going to be able to come forth and make a claim. Actually, you put my name on that charging instrument. That's mine. Oh boy, lovely. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Time to make some money. Charge me with some more. See, like I said, it drives them batwing crazy. It's like, oh shit, you know what we're doing. Yeah, I know exactly what the hell you're doing. That's why this lady was able to get her kids back. She put the paperwork in. She said Tuesday, Wednesday. I had a hearing on Monday. They gave up on Tuesday. Said, we give up. Come and get your kids. It's that fast.
Great.
They know what you're doing. And it's simple. You don't put in 500 documents. I mean, we put in 1 page. She put in exhibits like pictures of the kids. She said her exhibits were like 1 inch thick. Thank God she didn't have to go through that 1 inch thick of nonsense. She put a hard drive in.
Everything off her hard drive.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. She's still blocked between the two worlds of 500 pages 1 inch thick and a hard drive in my world. 1 sentence, 1 claim, we're done.
Yeah, and they never read any of that stuff, really. Like you said, they just scan right through it. That's about it, and they don't read it.
They're balanced. She's still trying to balance between the two worlds. Is Karl correct, or is Karl just insane? Because Karl's stuff sounds lunacy. It's too simple. Because everybody else has always told me to do 1 page thick stuff, because that's what lawyers do. Now, which way do you want to go, lady? Thank God she could bounce back and forth so quick. But she was still, you could tell, she was still on the fence with me. She really was. I guarantee now she won't be. But until she's like, wow, the match did happen. Yeah, it's simple, people. This stuff ain't rocket science. I do it all the time. Like that black guy was on Angela's show. He said, I pulled up Karl's rap sheet. Yeah, it hits the foreign roles. Karl's been involved with so much nonsense. It's like it's scary. I background checked this guy, NCIC. Every damn story he told you, people, is the truth. I wish this guy was lying, because, like, I hate you white people. You know, I wish I could find something.
So your rap sheet must look like your picture, right? Long hair, hippie, biker-looking guy. I saw your picture on the internet, so.
That was my description of him too.
Yeah, because I saw the picture of him standing by his car. Nice car.
Yeah, thanks. I still got it. You seen in the video me walking up with the cats, man, with an axe. It's still in the background. You see the car. But what I'm saying is, I did that one time in open court. The district attorney lady took my rap. She hit the floor and rolled. And I said, whoa, Judge, whoa. She's trying to prejudice you, man. She's trying to make you prejudge who I am. I said, let me approach the prosecutor. And I said, if you know, Judge, and I pulled the paper off her hands, there's not one conviction on this whole entire paper. And he says, where'd you learn the law from? Son, where are you from? I said, New York City. He says, well, let me tell you what, you in Davie County today, and you will be found guilty of this crime today. I said, sir, you just prejudged this case. He says, oh, prejudged? He said, you're telling me that's not, you're still in my chambers? I said, you've already examined the evidence? I said, I haven't even put a plea in yet. He says, oh, so you want to plead and try to tell me you're not guilty? He said, just go ahead and make my day. Try to say that you're not guilty of a crime. And I said, I looked at the guy who I paid $400 for to try to help me. I said, speak to this guy. Tell him that, wait a second, first I have to enter a plea. He says, I never heard anybody talk to the judge like this. Kid, you're on your own. You're crazy. He said, this guy's going to hang you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I had it like that, too. And I was in Riverside County, and this was back in the late 90s, and I had 17 deputy sheriffs in the courtroom just for me, because they were trying to intimidate me to arrest me again, because I was arrested, and they let me on out of war, and I was going through the process. And all the courts were done. They left me till last, and they were trying to get me, and I wouldn't let them. And I had 15 friends and family in the room, and they didn't know what they were in there for. And they said, "Oh, we're just observing." So they knew they couldn't do anything to me, but they were there to intimidate me. 17 deputy sheriff's lieutenant.
Yeah, but if you remember the happy ending of that story, the judge said to me, he says, "Well, if you plead guilty, you'll go home. If you plead not guilty, you're not going to go home." I said, "This is backwards land. What are we doing here?" And I looked at my attorney. Said, "Hey, buddy, you already fired me." He said, "Don't look at me for advice." So I said, "Okay, I'm going to say I'll take the one number one, guilty." He says, the judge is like, "Yeah, good choice." He says, "I'm going to give you a $300 fine, 3 years unsupervised probation." He says, "Can you pay the money now?" And I said, "No." He says, "Can you pay half now and half next week?" I said, "No." He said, "What can you do?" I said, "How about $5 a week for the next 60 weeks?" He said, "That's the best you could do?" I said, "That's my word. I'm sticking to it." He said, "Good enough. Tell the clerk of the court, the cashier, that you're going to be making $5 a week payments the next 60 weeks." She said, "That's always that, two guys in a desert thing with the judge. If he gives you an offer to pay, you could give him a lower offer, and then he could say, how about this, and then how about that, and how about this, and how about that." The court knows the judge isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I heard a story about that. I think Sam Davis tells of it, where the judge says, "I'm going to sentence you to 6 months." And the guy goes, "I can't do 6 months, Your Honor."
There you go.
And the judge says, "Well, can you do 3 months?" And he goes, "No, I can't do 3 months." "Well, can you do, 60 days?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I can do 60 days." And that's what he got.
But right, it's like, instead of saying, "No, I can't do 6 months," I said to the judge, "I'd love to pay you $300, but at this time I can't do it. I got to take care of wife and kids. You're not here to hurt me and my wife and kids, are you? That's not why you're paid. You want to help me, right?" He said, "Well, what can you do?" I said, "How about $5 a week?" So you never say no, just say, "I'd love to, but," and then you give him that but, the big but that comes in and say, I got wife and children. You see them sitting right there. I got to move out of the state of North Carolina because, if I get a speeding ticket, I come back and I start on square one. I go right to jail for 3 years, no pass go, no bail, and I got to carry out the entire sentence." He said, "Yeah, that's right. You got to move, so you need moving money." I said, "That's right." He said, "Okay, that's fine. We'll work with you." They will work with you. Just because they said, "I'm sentencing you this," they say, "Sir, that doesn't really work for me at this time. I wish to have it, this instead of that." But you got to make sure you're not in there with an attorney, because an attorney's the one who can contract for you. So I had to fire my attorney so I could conduct my own business with this judge.
Right, because as long as you got an attorney, the judge can't hear you.
That's right.
That's exactly what the judge said to me when I first went in. I didn't know what I was doing back then, and when I told the attorney never enter a plea, for me don't ever do that. And the judge was looking at him to enter a plea, and he was eyeing him really hard. pretty much to arrest him and sanction him. And he said, well, Your Honor, I think, I know he doesn't agree with it, but I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty for the defendant. I went, how the judge said, I didn't give anyone any authority to enter anything like that for me. He goes, excuse me? And the judge looked at me and said, excuse me, what did you say? That's what you have a defender for. In other words, he was telling me I didn't exist there, the public defense, that you have a public defender for. And he was telling me that the attorney was there, and the attorney was the defendant, not me. I was just there to sign documents so they could get paid. That was it. That's what he told me. And and the next day I avoided out the entry of the plea, and they sent me back to the judge, and the judge ended up sending me to see a psychiatrist.
Because the attorney is bonded, so he's got to pay for your sentence. He's got to pay in case you don't. In the case of, like I said, he's got an account with the court. You don't. So this is what I should explain. I should have Jesse to explain that. So when Jesse was going for this $1,000 a day thing, I said, Jesse, technically in common law, you got to come up with like a $300 million bond or something like that if you really want to sue suing people for like $1 gazillion. I said, can we make it down to earth and make it like, say, $1,000 a day if the kids don't get returned? Because that's basically like what the county of LA will charge you for not mowing your lawn. It's like $1,000 a day. I said, can you get away from this $10,000 or $1 million a day? Because technically, your word is your bond, but technically, they could ask you to put up a bond. I said, so you got to be careful. I said, you're taking me down a new road with this. Now you want compensation immediately, and if you go too crazy, the judge is going to think you're a clown, and you're just grabbing for money now more than worrying about getting your babies back. How about we just stop worrying about money right now and get your babies back?
You were talking about just being practical about what she's doing,
right?
Not being too exaggerating too much.
Oh, no.
People won't take it seriously.
Right. You just better just play that the number one, just make one claim at a time. I want my kids. There you go. Now you want money? We'll make a separate claim. But we'll take our time. You got plenty of time, lady. They're not going nowhere. The court's not going nowhere. Providence and Canada ain't going nowhere. Just take your time, get your kids, get your feet back on the ground, calm down, take a deep breath, get your fingers ready to type again, and we'll do this.
Well, Karl, thank you so much. It's always interesting listening to you.
Yeah,
always educational.
I love your questions, man. You're great. So, hey, send me an email, man, so I can tell you when my calls are on.
Okay. I sent you an email. You just look for it. You'll see my name in it.
Okay, just
I already sent one. I sent it a couple of days ago.
All right, good. No, that one there, that mailbox I get swamped. KL Direct TV is for free. The people that pay me money is that Court of Record. Courtofrecord@gmail.com. There's only 2 or 3 people that send me money, so only those people use that. So you could do it though. I like you.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Also, if you go to his TalkShoe page on TalkShoe, there you can click on that follow me thing and
right, yeah.
automatically put you on his email list on the TalkShoe. Do you know about that, Karl?
What's that?
When you go to send out an email to the people that are following you on your call.
Oh, yeah. Do a mass email, like 100 people at a... Yeah. Is that your face on the email thing, Ange? The brown hair, the brunette?
Yeah.
I always saw you had blonde hair.
Blonde?
Did you have... Yeah. Did you have blonde hair?
Never. Only in a former life.
Okay.
I'm not, I'm serious. I'm natural brunette, always have been, always will be. I don't think I would look good as a blonde at all.
Okay, I could have sworn you were blonde. Not disrespectful, I just could have sworn you were blonde. I'm not saying disrespectful. I'm married.
The gray coming in on the side.
Yeah, that's distinguished.
I'm blonde. Anyway, Portamentef wanted to know who that was. Speaking with Karl, that was Dallas.
Yeah, he's on everybody's call.
I love Dallas. Dallas is a great voice. Dallas is a doer. He'll go and make a guinea pig out of himself and try things. So, but yeah, you have people already waiting on your call, Karl. There's like 5 people over there. Right?
All right, let's do that real quick, and I'll let Greg take over most of that, but I'll help Greg out.
All right, great. I gotta go tend to my Joey, and I'll talk to you guys later. It's been fun. I love you. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks, Karl. I appreciate it. and I'm going to listen to your other calls on Thursday, the recording, so I can actually hear what Jessie did and what she was up against. And are you going to do, well, you do a call every Thursday anyway, right?
Well, I was only doing it for the women who had children, and that's the only, I might do it that early because I got things to do around here. But I realized they were earlier than me, so if I started something after your show, it was 1 o'clock in the morning for them.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm glad I got the email. Thanks for posting, letting me know.
Right. Understand why, like I said, I had to do it before your show because it was, their Canadian time is way ahead of my time, and it's 4 hours ahead of your time, so.
Yeah.
The lady.
You must be tired, though. You're doing a before and an after.
Yeah, but Greg is going to help me do a lot of the show, believe me, because you folks are going to start talking about credit card debts and mortgages, and he literally does that verbatim, like by the code. And I just come in, and I just tell people, it's like, look, if you got 3 bananas and 2 bananas, this is what you're going to get. And it's like, they say, that's what Greg's saying. That's what Greg's saying. And they go, oh, okay, Karl, thanks for breaking it down.
All right. Well, everybody's going to go over to your call. What's the number again? 127.
46. Yeah.
127469. 127469. I see you typed it in here. All right. Thanks so much, Karl. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Dallas. Thanks, Shrink Wrap. Everybody that was on here, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. God bless you. Love each other. Take care of each other and all that. I wish I could say see you on Saturday for Jack's call, but Amber's taking over that call. Amber, what's your number? You might as well put it out there. What's your number, Amber, for your call? I'm sorry, I always get you off guard like that. Okay, the number is 126101, and that's the American Reconstruction Project.
Is she gonna do? Yeah, she's got the same times as Jack. That's great because I used to do a show right after Jack, so that was good. I did it at midnight. Yeah, but the Jack crap. Yeah, because the Jack crap crazy. So we take it.
Yes, she took it over. So that'll continue on. Blessings to her for that. And go ahead, Karl. Got to get over to your call. There's people waiting. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Oh, Rocco, what is that? Wait, Rocco just put a number up there. 382436. What's that, Rocco? You guys call us on Freedom Slips. I don't know what is that? 382436. Rocco, you're not fast enough.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll see you guys later. Have fun. Have a great weekend. Oh, Rocco said that's Amber's measurements, 38, 24, 36. Okay.
Charles Stewart. Don't forget Stewart.
John Stewart is on Sunday nights.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
I like it.
All right. Yeah, me too. He's another drill sergeant teacher.
He's a badass.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Bye. Love ya.